Jarvis, drop my needle.
Hello, this is the hardcore legend Mick Foley, and if you are interested in listening to idiots, you came to the right place. Have a nice day.
Woo! That's an attention getter.
He's a very strange young man.
He's an idiot.
What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
Oh my God, he's an idiot.
You know, of course, that you're out of your jurisdiction.
Personally, I think you're an idiot.
But that's the evidence in the car.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Always like to keep my audience riveted.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, friends and fiends, and welcome to Free Range Idiocy, the podcast about everything, but mostly just the stuff we like. It's been a fast and furious week or so in professional wrestling with the build-up to PLEs from both major American promotions, as well as weekly television and a B-level PLE just thrown in just for kicks. AEW rolled into my neck of the woods for a live broadcast of Dynamite and Collision, and I waded into enemy territory to be part of history in Portland, Maine. On the other side of the trenches, WWE has been building up to their first ever Italian, if you want to go with Mickey from Rocky, PLE this coming Sunday, as well as cranking out weekly TV and a Saturday night's main event in that jewel of the Midwest, Fort Wayne, Indiana. How did it all go? What's going to happen in Italy? We cover it all in this episode 248, Working Both Sides of the Aisle. I am your Uncle Todd, and with me, as always, the man who has he had a rough enough week to blister the buttocks of even the most seasoned office cubicle warrior. He has been my partner in EDC for over 2 decades, and much like Tom Petty, he won't back down. I give you the man they call Tim.
Greetings and salutations, my friend.
Oh my gosh, he's got his announcer.
At some point, you'll get it right and introduce me as the multi-time fantasy football champion. Do you need a sip of your drink, sir?
I'm not introducing you that way.
He's
because
the good Lord's like, give me the patience.
Sport and a fake fucking team and a fake fucking award for a fake fucking achievement that doesn't mean a fucking thing anywhere in the fucking world except to you. And that belt doesn't even represent the fucking fake fucking achievement that you've been getting. So no, I shan't be announcing.
In my head canon, it is though, and that's all that matters. So
then keep it there, because much like nose picking, it's not something to be done in public. It's an ugly, dirty habit, sir.
Sir, your wit is sharp as ever. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm pretty good for the shape, man. How about you? Oh, my gosh, you're mixing matcha with bourbon. You know what? You ought to actually pour the bourbon in it and see what happens.
No. I have not started drinking my bourbon yet.
Why not?
I'm finishing this because there's a process here. I'm drinking my antioxidant first, and then I'm going to hit the poison. So
well, at least you're upfront about it.
I mean,
I'm trying to mitigate the damage and then going ahead with the damage.
I am an engineer by trade. There is a logic that goes to the process, and so one shall in.
Is there really? I was going to
say, just trying to sound smart and professional, but yes.
Well, you almost got away with it. I never do. So you're one step ahead of me.
So close,
and yet so far.
But sir, you have been. I must say, sitting back here as the wrestling expert on this show, the aficionado, the longtime historian of professional wrestling. Well,
yes.
It warms the cockles of my heart, not the chicken cockles, but the cockles, to have seen you spread your wings and go and enjoy a different show. One all elite wrestling showing up in your neck of the woods in Portland, and taking it all in and experiencing their live TV production in living color.
Yes.
I'm so curious to hear your report, how this must have been light years ahead of the shoddy production values of WWE and what we experienced at Elimination Chamber. AEW on top of their game all the time and delivering what the people want. Am I right, sir? Tell us, how was it? Were you blown away by AEW?
Well, you know how they used to do the pyro for Gilbert with a couple
Oh, that's where we're starting? Oh, jeez.
So this was
after that build, you take it to Gilbert. God dang it! Well, hey, it is what it is. I asked for your opinion, so
it was a professional presentation. I mean, I won't say that. So what is the? I didn't look this up ahead of time.
The arena was full, right? 10,000 strong, if I remember correctly. Yes.
Yeah. Hang on a second. Capacity. All right, so the Cross Insurance Arena in Portland, Maine, formerly known as the Cumberland County Civic Center, which is what I always.
That's a much better name, by the way. The Cross Insurance. Oh, give me a break.
So we've got a capacity there of about 6,200 to 6,700 for sporting events. I'm guessing hockey and basketball. Up to 9,500 for concerts. I'm not really sure what concert that is because unless you're doing a concert in the round, I don't know that you can add that many seats, but I guess that's like the absolute max you could do.
Mm-hmm.
The attendance for this show was just under 3,000. So the way they had this set up was they had about it wasn't 2/3, it was just over half of the arena was set up for seating. They of course had their, they didn't have a full stage either. It was essentially like a kind of close to what WWE is doing these days, just on a smaller scale, where it's just kind of a straight out walkout. It wasn't the dual tunnel. It wasn't the raised platform stage with the ramp down or anything. That would have looked utterly ridiculous here, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And so they had pyro, they had all that. My seats were basically kind of parallel to or right in line with the entrance. So unfortunately, even though they had LED screens kind of off to the side like this, and then the entrance came out this way, and then they had LEDs curved like this, the ones on the side, they never played any of the video packages. So when they were playing video packages, anyone like in the section to our left and our section had no idea what was going on. So you could not see, which was kind of a bummer. And it really is confounding the fact that you have those video screens on the side and you don't use them for those people in those sections. Kind of seems like a no-brainer. But there were seats to be had. The side that I was on, which was the hard cam side, was the fullest. The side with all the cameras, production, all that was they basically had a lot of it tarped, and then the rest of it was almost empty. And the end that was opposite the kind of stage and entrance was maybe half full.
Okay.
So you probably could have easily, had they sold out the way that they had this thing arranged, you probably could have sold between 4,000 and 5,000 tickets, and they didn't, which is kind of surprising because the Maine has kind of become, even though WWE stopped heading up here, I think about 3, maybe 4 years ago. And in that time, Limitless Wrestling, and there's another promotion going around, I can't remember who they are off the top of my head, but Limitless has done a great job of really cultivating a wrestling scene in Maine. And there is a lot of passionate people. And there was a lot of people who were going to this show. I don't think that they were necessarily AEW fans per se. They were just wrestling fans. And yet you still could not sell this place out for a live television taping, which I'm kind of like, that, I don't know. Going in, there was, at least the entrance I was at, it was almost 50-50 Limitless to AEW shirts. So the main indie promotion had a very strong representation in terms of merch people are wearing. And they had a couple of the Limitless folks showing up to be in dark matches, Ring of Honor stuff, and there was a couple squash matches that featured some Limitless folks and indie folks. But I mean, overall, it was a fairly professional setup. It felt like it was kind of big time. But I also will say that the knocks that I have heard against AEW and that I have seen myself in my very limited viewing of AEW were on full display for this, because one of the knocks being like, there's really no adults in the room and there's no one running the show who really knows how to pace out a television show. And this was really on display here. because it just things went off the rails after a while. There was 3 dark matches beforehand, and those were pretty good. The best part was the very first dark match was Sting's son, Steve Borden, and some other guy who I can't remember, and I'm not going to bother to look up. I don't think he has an action figure. And a tag team from Limitless Wrestling, who are normally a heel tag team and very well hated by fans. They were getting a hero's welcome just because they were the local guys. So again, it was like, it was the bizarro world happening in real time.
ECW and WWE, right?
Yeah.
The heels in ECW, the Dudleys are getting cheered, even though they're the dastardly heels in ECW.
So that was a pretty good match. Sting's kid did the Stinger Splash a couple times.
Of course he did.
Limitless guys acquitted themselves. It was like a 5-minute match. It wasn't anything special, but it was pretty well. During that match, tons of Limitless chants, like cheering for the local promo, which was kind of cool. I don't really remember the other dark matches, but they were pretty good. Fans were into it. Energy was up there. The opening match was the 6-man tag with Jericho, because apparently he's not using Chris anymore. Jericho and the Young Bucks versus Ricochet, Mark Davis, and Andrade, which the friggin' fans were on fire for. People love this match, and I got to say, like, I was very impressed at how good Jericho looked in this match. There was a guy who was somewhere around us who was like, "What are you doing, Chris? You're too old for this." Like, every time you go for a big move, it was friggin' hilarious.
That's awesome.
It was a really well-paced match. They really worked hard to get fans into the match. So I mean, whatever, I think there's a lot of deserved criticism for some of the self-serving spot fest stuff that goes on in AEW. But here I felt that it worked out pretty well, because it did get the crowd really into this thing. And then we started to get into the territory of, like, I don't know why even though this next match was over, second match of Collision was Mark Briscoe and Tommaso Ciampa in an Anything Goes match. I do not understand why this match was second, because this ended up being a pretty wild and violent and bloody fight. I'm like, why would you put this on second and then go in the manner that you do for the rest of the night? Like, this should have been either a semi-main event or even the main event, because otherwise, after this, it's like, I thought it was great. There's a couple notes I had from this one. I don't have notes for all the matches, but this one deserved a little bit of mention.
Did you have a notebook with you doing this, or were you?
Some of this I wrote down when I came home.
Okay.
But so of course, Briscoe brought out his trash can with a shoulder strap full of weapons.
What'd you think of Briscoe, by the way?
Oh my gosh. He could have stepped out of the northern woods of Maine, man. Like, that is a toothless wonder right there.
He is. He is a national treasure, that man.
Yeah.
It is hysterical to listen to him go on about his conglomeration and the word of the day.
Ciampa went under the ring at one point and pulled out another trash can full of plunder, reached in and pulled his hand out, and it had an oversized mouse trap that had clamped down on it that apparently had been planted. There was something. So then Ciampa gets a cheese grater and goes to town on Briscoe's forehead. So then we got color into this very quickly. There was something to do with a chicken stuffed animal / puppet. I don't know what this is about, but it was really over with the fans. Ciampa got a hold of it, and he started performing moves on it. Like, he suplexed it, he slammed it. He actually insisted on the referee coming over and counting a 3 as he pinned the chicken puppet. However, Briscoe came to the rescue and pulled the ref out of the ring before we could get a 3 count on the puppet, which, again, I know nothing about the reasoning of why this puppet is important.
I mean, the Briscoes are from Delaware, and I think
so it was a hen.
They're from like a chicken farm sort of thing. Like so he used to be part of a tag team with his brother Jay, and then Jay unfortunately got into a car accident and died, and so he's been running singles ever since. But they were called Dem Boys, and they very much were kind of like that hick sort of gimmick, but and they would cut promos from their family farm, which I think was mostly a chicken farm.
Okay,
so I don't know if it had something to do with that. I mean, it was just kind of that's so weird.
There was a decent amount of people who either got it or were just amused by the fact that Ciampa was wrestling a chicken puppet, and it was funny. I will admit they managed to make it. It did not drag out too long. It was like a minute and a half or so of the match.
Yeah.
Briscoe pulled the ref out so that the chicken did not get pinned, which was, got a big cheer. Briscoe was setting up a table on the outside and he was stapling barbed wire to it. Ciampa then beats on Briscoe, and then Ciampa continues the stapling project, which I was like, okay, so this is weird. And then at one point, Ciampa takes the stapler, and this is like one of those industrial like staplers that you would like use to put posters on a telephone pole or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he grabs some of the announcer's paperwork and staples it to the top of Briscoe's head.
Jeez.
And the problem is, at first he did it and it was hanging in Briscoe's face, and they had to redo it so that it was on top.
Oh, jeez.
He then proceeded to wrestle several minutes with this stapled, like the paperwork on his head.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Holy moly.
Briscoe got the one on that. After that, we had some sort of confrontation between Swerve Strickland and Bandito. It was okay. It was very kind of hokey and botchy, though. Like, it did not look like anyone had really planned this out, or both of their timing was just off. I don't know what it was, but it was kind of let down. The entire night came to a skidding halt when Jon Moxley came out for a match with Kyle O'Reilly, and I knew we were in for shits here because they announced a 20-minute time limit, and I was like, ain't nobody announcing a time limit these days unless we're going the time limit. And I'm like, if there's any match that I don't want to go 20 minutes, it's a match with Jon Moxley. He took forever to get in the ring. He kept on pacing around like the lower bolt, like the rink part, the floor part of the, because he had to come in from the Shield corner because, I guess that's still a thing for him. And is
he still coming into Wild Thing?
I don't know. I forget.
Or is it something else?
No, because he's got his Death Riders music or whatever. And it just took forever for him to get into the ring. And Moxley might train in Brazilian jiu-jitsu and he might grapple in his spare time, but in the ring, he just looks like his ability in the ring with that makes him look like that one guy who does nothing but talk shit about how he knows MMA after stepping into a gym like 3 times. Boring doesn't even begin to describe this match. It was at this point though.
Was it like a lot of rest holds, or like what made it boring?
It was literally like they were trying to cop stuff from MMA. And it was a lot of just sizing each other up and all that. And I'm like, and literally turn to the buddy I'm with, and we're both like, do people actually like this? And there were some people there who actually did seem to like this, which made me question my faith in humanity, which is already at a low.
Well, there's a lot that makes you question that these days, isn't there?
But this was also the point when people started getting really drunk in our section. And so we had one guy who just was going, "Let's go, Riley," like constantly for like 5 minutes at a time. And nobody's joining in. And he proceeded to have a bunch of other chants throughout the night. And I'm like, would you just please pass out? Just please pass out.
Was this the same guy who was at the United Center who tried to make that joke that just fell flat? And
no, dude, I would have loved to have had that guy. This guy was just obnoxious and not funny at all.
Oh my gosh.
And then there was another guy who, there was a Brit to our right who somehow managed to drink himself like out of coherence, and then he managed to come back around at a certain point. I don't know if he sobered up or if he just drank so much he went all the way around the spectrum of drunkenness to like he could actually speak again. It was amazing. And then after that, like the night just kind of fell off. Like that match literally sucked all of the juice out of the room. They never got it back. The main event for Collision was Darby Allin and Speedball Bailey, which I'm like, I don't get why Darby Allin is a champion, because you made him, he just flew around for like 2/3 of the match.
Well, it goes back to your point about the Ciampa Briscoe match, because like I don't watch AEW's product. I read about it on Cage Side Seats, and I even know just from reading on the periphery that there's more juice to the Ciampa Briscoe thing than there is for Speedball. And I mean, Darby's doing a great job. From what I understand, I mean, I think he has since lost to MJF, but
yes,
his gimmick was ride or die as the world champion. Like he was just going to basically go until the wheels fell off, basically.
Well,
and I think that
fighting champion, that's a whole angle, but it's like
fighting champ, but just to like, Punk has said, like, I'm going to retire when the wheels fall off. Like Darby's actively just throwing caution to the wind and just doing whatever the hell he wants to do, no matter the injury, no matter the pain. And I thought that was kind of a cool gimmick he was doing. But, you know, Speedball, from what I understand, you know, again, I don't watch the product, kind of an up and comer, but it's just kind of like a meh sort of thing. Like I would have nested that kind of in the middle, have your world champion kind of at the midpoint of the show for a match like that, and then put Ciampa Briscoe out there to do the freaking brawl, you know.
But even if you have to have that the main event because it's your championship, the fact is, like, dude, like, have Darby look a little bit better. Like, I get it, like they're trying to maybe play it up the fact that he's tired or whatever because he's constantly defending, but he just looked like a rag doll for like 2/3 of the match, and then it started picking up, and then he finally he barely eked out a win over, again, like this Jamoke mid-carder, which I'm like, wow, this really sets up the juice for this. And that was all an excuse because MJF had come down to do commentary. That was all just an excuse for MJF to storm off. And again, nobody apparently is telling these folks, like, let's get going, like, get to the thing, like, enough with the freaking foreplay here. Eventually you got to make with the thing. And so MJF, as Darby Allin is celebrating and all that, he's pacing back and forth, and I'm like, okay, so he's going to run in, he's going to run back in, of course. And he just kept on going back and forth, and we're going on and on and on and on, and finally he runs in, and I'm like, what took you so long? Like, literally, why are we waiting on this? And again, like, I just sat through another bunch of matches that I really don't care about. There was one match with, I can't remember if it was for Collision or Dynamite, but the Battling Birds and Thunder Rosa versus 3 other ladies that I don't remember. That was a pretty good match, but other than that, kind of unremarkable. Then we get into Collision, and again, just kind of meh. They put two squash matches back to back right in the middle of Collision, which I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, again, just sucking more energy out. And then the main event for Collision was FTR versus Orange Cassidy and I don't even remember the other person. And again, I'm watching this, I'm like,
Orange Cassidy's part of the conglomeration.
Oh, isn't that lovely? He looks like a chump, and I was just like, this is boring as hell. Like, there was nothing to it. So by the time this match got done, literally half of the arena stood up all at the same time. As soon as the bell rang, we all stood up and headed for the exits. Like, the concourses were full of people getting the hell out of Dodge. And, like, we're going down the concourse. You could still hear what's going on.
Yeah.
We got all the way out through the concourse, out to the main lobby, out the road. And then apparently Cage and Cope came in along with Scotty 2 Hotty to send the fans home happy, the 200 who were still left in the arena, I guess. I'm like, why didn't you do that a little bit sooner? Instead of waiting enough times that everyone's just like, all right, well, time to go, because everyone's friggin' just tired because they're tired of the friggin' event. Like, I get that WWE has its problems, and I get that. I think it's a good thing that AEW and WWE have different things that they can kind of hang their hat on, and it's 2 different styles. I think that's good. I think that's good for competition, and it's good to serve different fans differently.
Yeah.
But holy crap, if there was an award for just constantly shooting yourself in the friggin' foot, I would have to say AEW wins it hands down every single year. I mean, I get people love the diehards for AEW, love it, but it's like, with the amount of money behind them, with the opportunities they've had with TV, with streaming, with everything else, and you can't, like, their audience continues to shrink. They have like these 4 or 5 big shows per year, but every other show, they're barely like getting 50% capacity. Like, if you can't do that with and again, a roster twice the size of what WWE has, because they just have people sitting at home that Tony's paying. Like, I don't get, like, how you can do this and continually shoot yourself in the foot where you can't at least be slightly competitive. You know what I mean? but then I go to a show and I watch this and I'm like, I can totally see why you're not competitive, because as someone who is used to WWE, but also like would like a well paced out 3-hour event, so that I'm not like at the hour mark going, how much longer are we here for?
Mm-hmm.
I totally get it. Like, this is not something I particularly care to watch. I'm glad I went. Some of it was good, but it really kind of sucks that like literally an hour in, I'm like, okay, we're really going to 11, huh? Oh God.
Now, see, if that was me, what I would have done is I would have stayed when it ended, and I would have tried to make my way down to the front row section, because everyone's gone at that point, right?
Mm.
Or most people, and try to interact and maybe get an autograph or a little something. You know what I mean?
But I mean, the thing was, there was no indication that Cope and Cage are coming out. There's no indication that anything else was going to happen.
You never know.
You never know. But at the same time, like, the event started at 7:30. We had the half hour of dark matches.
Mm-hmm.
Dynamite goes on the air at 8.
Mm-hmm.
Collision goes off the air at 11:10, 11:15. There was an overage. Like, literally at that, and again, like, the last hour and a half, 2 hours of this show dragged. Like, literally dragged.
Do you think part of it is not being attuned to the product? It was hard for you to lock into the matches, or it was just the actual action in the match was just kind of like, ugh.
I have no idea who the Young Bucks are beyond that they're the EVPs and that Jim Cornette calls them the Buckaroos. I have no idea who any of those cats are besides Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like he was one of my favorites ever. I have no idea who the Battling Birds. I've vaguely heard of Thunder Rosa. That match wasn't too bad. Like, I could get into the matches that actually felt like they made sense. But again, a lot of the stuff that we've heard that you hear about with AEW, yeah, there's a lack of selling. Like, someone takes a big move and a second later, right up off the mat. And I'm not saying that's I just watched Raw from this past Monday, and Penta kind of did the same thing in his match with Javon Evans. It's a thing, but it seems particularly egregious whenever I've seen AEW, that there's very little selling and pacing. Like, give me a good match. I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need to know the whole history of it. I'll just enjoy it for the athleticism. But dear God, you just have this thing dragging and dragging and dragging. Like, I'm just waiting to go home.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably give the whole thing like a C minus. Especially considering, the amount of money you're spending on this, like, it probably should have been a little better. And I totally understand why Jericho and the Bucks wanted to kind of go on first, be like, all right, cool, we're going to go get the hell out of here.
We gone.
It's the Brock Lesnar rule. But yeah, it was good to go and to experience it, but I shan't be going to another AEW event anytime soon.
All right.
At all.
All right.
I thought I'm going to put this in the show notes. I came across this afterwards. There's a wonderful little 5-minute video of Jim Cornette on if Danhausen is any different than Orange Cassidy, and hearing him expound upon that is very interesting. And it was like, yep. So okay, I'm not totally out of the loop on Orange Cassidy. Like this, yeah, that's kind of the thing. Okay, cool. But anyways, it was a fun night out. Got to have
Do you need a drink after recounting that evening? A
little bit. Although we went to I will say this, went to Empire Chinese Kitchen in Portland, which is on the corner of Congress and Forest.
Okay.
And it is some of the finest Chinese food. Had some garlic green beans, some pork dumplings, had the orange beef. Oh, that helped with the night so much. Just was
this after the event?
Oh no, it was before.
I was gonna say, because man, if you're eating Chinese food at 11:30, that must have been a great night of sleep.
No,
the
sir.
Dreams you must have been having.
The credits rolled afterwards. But yeah, it was like
nice.
It would be nice. It would be nice to have been like, oh well, maybe I'll catch a show every now and again. But it's like, just going to that, I'm like, I have no want to do this. And the other part of it is like, even thinking like what we talked about at Elimination Chamber, like it is a little bit different not having the commentators there to kind of hype you and to fill you in on things and all that.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I'm missing something from there. I'm like, oh, it's Tony Schiavone, who is my least favorite announcer of all time, and Taz, who is
good people.
He's serviceable. And then the other guy, what's his name? The
Excalibur.
Who I don't know anything about. I'm like, even just, I'm actually very glad I didn't have to listen to Tony Schiavone. Like that was a blessing right there.
The most American luchador this side of El Grande Americano.
Which one? Because one of the El Grande Americanos is not American at all. Isn't he Austrian?
I think so.
Yeah.
But we're not supposed to know that.
Well, actually, wait a minute. Doesn't Kaiser, he speaks like a passable Spanish when he's...
No, he's fluent.
Oh, he is?
I saw a reel on Instagram where
that's awesome.
He was talking with fans. Like there was a whole thing that happened with him last week. I don't know if you've read about it.
I have.
But there was a reel where he and you could tell he was getting pretty emotional. Like, he was allowed to travel to Mexico after all the, drama, had come out. And the fans went freaking nuts for him. And like literally you kind of see like tears because the guy's like,
I thought he was going to get fired.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was one of those, who knows where the truth lies, but there was some fracas that happened with him, and it's possible, the accusation is he attacked someone. The story is now coming out that there might have been words exchanged where the person who got attacked was kind of provoking it. And especially when you read about what they said, it's just like, yeah, well, I actually don't seem to blame the guy for throwing some bones at him. So, but no, it was good. He got to travel to the event because they were doing like a promotion for, I think the event is this weekend, but it's the mask versus mask match between the original El Grande Americano and El Grande Americano. Ladies and gentlemen, that match to be lauded only next to the mirror match from SummerSlam. Oh my God, when was it? 91 maybe, between the two Undertakers. One who was known as Brian Lee.
I think you're giving them short shrift. I think the Americanos, this could be a good match.
Hold on, Undertaker.
And the crowd's going to be into it. That's the thing. The crowd is going to be on friggin' fire for that.
SummerSlam 94. I'm sorry, SummerSlam 94.
So the funny thing is, after Saturday Night's Main Event, when they announced like the AAA show was going to be on immediately after, I'm like, oh, it's going to be on Peacock, and it wasn't. I'm like, okay, well, it would help me greatly if you
tell me where it was.
Yeah. Apparently, it's on YouTube and like AAA's Facebook page or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I seem to remember them saying that. Yeah,
which I'm like, that's it. Okay, so maybe I might try and catch a little bit of that. You know, if it's for freezies, I might give that a try.
Absolutely.
But yeah, speaking of Saturday Night's Main Event, you just finished watching that today.
I did.
Thoughts on that?
I did. I got to be honest, and I hope I don't sound like I'm picking on him, but not impressed with the women. Just any of the women's matches that night were not good. Just not good. I didn't like the 6-man tag. It was very clunky. There was just no rhythm to it. I don't mind, like, part of me gets, and we were talking about like the promise of this John Cena classic, and I was talking about, one great use of it could be because of one of the things Cena did in his career was essentially reinvent himself early in his career that led to the stardom that he was able to enjoy and rise to the main event. And it really drives me nuts when you have someone like B-Fab, who is part of Jade Cargill's posse now, who got that name when she was part of another group, and now she's not. But it's just like, we're just going to call her that because that's her name. And it's like, but the whole point of the name had to do with the gimmick that she was in with that group. And it's like, now that she's not in it, repackage her, rebrand her, like, let her be something different. Because otherwise, what the hell does it even mean?
Yeah. But I mean, there is a long and storied history of those gimmicks that just kind of, they're like, it's just a legacy, and after a while it's like, well, I guess I'm just stuck with this now.
All right. I mean, at least, at some point, the Godwins got renamed to like Midian, and I don't know what the other guy was called, South Texas Alexander or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, my whole point is just like take the opportunity to repackage them if you're going to like, have them be different roles or something like that. But it was all right. I mean, it's just like watching the match. Just felt like they were uncomfortable working with each other. You know what I mean? Like there was like they were good in moments, but there were other moments where I'm just like, you could tell they were very hesitant in what they were doing. And I'm just like, I get it. You guys aren't going to practice obviously, but at the same time, it's just that hesitation really comes through on the show, and it takes something away from the match, because it's like, now it's like, okay, this is a scripted match. You know what I mean? Like you just feel, you feel the mechanics of, or I should say the logistics of how the match was put together by the agent, watching it move that slow. You know what I mean? So that lack of fluidity really stood out to me. But I thought the pairings were great. I thought it was really funny when Charlotte and Alexa go to strike their pose at the beginning, and then you see Rhea come in and kind of like,
that was beautiful. I was like, that is why Rhea is so over, because it is just that sort of like, I'm going to do something goofy here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think
it was obvious that it wasn't planned ahead of time, because they already broke the pose, but when she barely got over there.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely an impromptu sort of thing. I don't know if they're doing this on purpose or not, but I don't know if you noted this. Jade wasn't in the match a whole lot. So I'm like, is she like this star where it's like, we're going to promote her as one of the great women's wrestling stars, and she's going to wrestle the least of any woman on the roster?
It is kind of mystifying to me, because when I watch her work, I don't see her as that bad.
Yes.
I don't see like, because there's times when you see someone, you're like, oh my gosh, they're totally trying to hide this person.
Yeah.
They're just trying to utilize their look or whatever, and goes for women, for men. It's, but I don't see any gaping holes in the gimmick or in her abilities to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, she's terrible. It's like, maybe she isn't the greatest, female wrestler of all time, but I don't see anything that is so glaringly bad that you're like, well, we can only have her in the match for 30 seconds. Right. I don't understand, because that has been the thing, because when she didn't defend the championship from when she won it to when she lost it, like she only had that one title defense. Like, why are you trying to hide this person who I don't think her promos are great, but then again, when has that stopped WWE from putting people on the mic? Because they keep doing it with Nia Jax, and she is god awful. I mean, if creative could get down on their knees beside their bed tonight and pray to sweet baby Jesus, 9 pounds, 6 ounces, baby Jesus in the manger, and have a prayer answered, they would pray for Nia Jax to become as good on the mic as Jade Cargill is. That would be a magnificent improvement for her. So, I mean, she's not fantastic, but she's not that terrible.
Right.
And she can work.
And that's what mystifies me as well. Right. And after seeing,
I don't get it.
And when I say there's a lack of fluidity, I mean, it was hitting everyone. I mean, I was noticing it with Charlotte. I was noticing it with Alexa. There were moments I noticed it. I mean, Rhea, I noticed it less. And I'm not trying to say that because I'm biased toward her, but I don't, but there were clunky moments, not because of her, but like, it was like, there was something not working right with who she was, whether it was Mitchin or whether it was B-Fab, something was off. And, but yeah, like to your point, I mean, get her in there. I mean, they're like, I can't tell if it's like they don't trust her or if they're really trying to hide whatever the weakness is there. Because
what is the weakness? I don't get it. Like I have not seen it, and maybe I've missed, but I'm guessing that like it would have popped up on the interwebs somewhere of like, oh my gosh, did you see this botch by Jade Cargill? She pooped her pants and dropped this person on their head. I haven't seen that. I see her wrestle and I'm like, okay, she's maybe not like the most fluid of workers, but neither was Bobby Lashley, and he's still employed and working main events. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
So it is mystifying to me because she has an amazing look. I mean, she is one of those people you just see and you're like, it makes me like, I see her, I'm like, man, I shouldn't be watching wrestling. I need to get my ass to the gym immediately. Like I am shamed here. I am shamed without anyone saying a word. However, I will say that 6-woman tag was far better than the women's tag championship match. That was the one match that I ended up fast forwarding through because I'm like, I can't.
That was a match where for me at least, the suspension of reality and your ability to let yourself get immersed in the universe is completely upended because say what you will about Nia Jax, Nia and Lash should have whipped them around and just beaten it. Like, to me, it's like, what are you like? I get they're giving them a rematch. I get it that it was like that was the match you were promoting because it was, in away from WrestleMania. But Paige and Brie Bella have absolutely no business beating those two. And
they don't
say what you will about them. They are supposed to be division killers. Let them be division killers for a period. And I'm just, nothing against Paige and Brie. It's just they shouldn't have won.
There's something against Paige and Brie. Like they're legacy acts. They're and it's like, that's great that they brought back Paige and all that. Like, but what are you doing here with that? I mean, and the other part is like, okay, who's the heel, who's the face? Because you then have Paige and Brie win in a heel fashion, which I do give them credit for, like the kind of the newness or the kind of novelty of Brie, like reaching up and applying pressure to Paige's butt with her foot, like using the leverage that way. I was like, okay, I haven't seen that done before. So, okay, that's kind of, it kind of gave me a giggle and I'm like, okay, that's new. But again, like, that's a heel move. So who are the bad guys? Who are the good guys? Please, somebody tell me. Cause I have a real hard time rooting for Lash and Nia because they've been working heel, but yet Brie and Paige are kind of working heel too. So like, what's the point here? That was the other thing. So that was the one match I did fast forward. Becky Lynch and Saul. Again, like, can we just get to the Jessica Card Becky Lynch match? Pretty please. I'm just really sick of this dancing around. Like, again, there's only so much foreplay before you got to make with the thing, and I think that we're way past that point now. And that wasn't any great shakes, but again,
I just, the thing that and again, Becky's a great heel, but it would be what drives me nuts is how everyone acts, and this is the same thing that's going on with like Roman and Jacob Fatu right now. Is there's a total ignorance to certain things happening that are happening right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
And with Becky Lynch, it's like, and this even happened during the AJ Lee feud. No one seems to call out the fact that she is clear. Like, yes, they say things like, she's insecure and she's, coming out with a lot of pomp and circumstance because, she's real, maybe she realizes she's not as good as she once was and whatnot. But it's like, no one talks about the fact that she's doing some of the things that she does to get out of now they did to some degree. And the one thing I felt they did very well with this match with Sol Ruca is Becky looked outclassed in this match. She like they did a great job of kind of showing like she was trying to get some edge, some modicum of momentum in this match, and she could not do it. And the youngin was basically starting to, slap her around. And then she, did the thing with the ref. We once again, poor Sol Ruca. I don't think she's had a single soul snatcher since she's come up from NXT that's looked good.
I think they've been two, and both of them. One was botchy and the other one was, interrupt us here plus botchy. Yeah.
So it drives me nuts. I mean, Cole was kind of calling it out a little bit, but it's just the way they just kind of play ignorant. You know, this was my gripe about Liv Morgan when she beat, what's her name? Stephanie Vicaire, using underhanded tactics and stuff. And just the way they kind of let all that stuff slide without talking about, you know, the fact that, you know, to me, it's like nothing was really proven. You know, she clearly cheated because she was outclassed, that sort of thing. I don't know. That bothers me more than the character. It's just call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? Like, well, Becky pulled shenanigans because and the title wasn't even on the line. That was the funny part, right? I mean, it's not like she pulled a DQ because she was trying to get out of losing the belt. She just she was getting embarrassed in the ring is what was going on.
Which can totally work. But again, I think this goes back to something we talked about an episode or two ago where it's kind of, or it might have been more than that. I don't know. But it's kind of the coziness of the announcers, because the announcers are the ones who have to really be, they have to be the angel and the devil on your shoulders. And because it's so hey, don't we all get along now? We're so happy, blah 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 blah. Like, no, if you have a face and a heel in the announce booth, like, they have to interact that way. They can't just be all jokey and just kind of minorly disagree. Like, no, they have to both be occupying their sets of turf. And that is something that could then come up and be discussed between the announcers, but they don't take it to that extreme. They don't really post up as a face and a heel. It's like, well, I think this and you think this, but hey, we're going to joke around a little bit. And I'm like, no, that's not your gig. I'm sorry. And it makes, I get Cole has been now working for WWE for approximately 85 years, but still, like, this is
back in my day.
This is something that is a big hole in what he does. He's, because I think, again, like, I get he's probably overjoyed for the first time in his entire 115 years working for WWE in the past couple that he doesn't have Vince screaming in his ear and berating him and telling him what, you know, essentially like Vince's hand up his ass and working him like a friggin' puppet. Like, he's probably overjoyed, but okay, enough of that. You have a job, and it's not to get along with everybody. Like, it has to be, you are the good guy. You are the angel on the viewer's shoulder, and either Corey or Wade or whoever, they're the devil, and they're the one over here barking and saying all the stuff. Then you can actually have that discussion, but we don't get that. And it sucks.
It does.
The thing I couldn't understand is why we got Vision versus Street Profits as the main event, and Penta and Ethan Page was not. That should have been reversed. That was the best match of the night. Penta and
okay, I think it's kind of tied, because I got to tell you, the heat on that tag match at the end was very, I mean, I'm not going to say it was light years beyond what Penta and Ethan Page were doing, but the crowd was hot for that match, and the match had a really good flow to it. The action was tight. I thought it was very ironic, and I don't know if this was a statement being made by Triple H and company, but I found it highly ironic after cutting as much of the roster as they did and getting a bunch of flack of basically killing the tag division, that they had the semi-main and the main event both be tag team championship matches. Was very kind of on the nose, you know what I mean?
and they've also pulled the Street Profits into the Seth Rollins orbit, and it does feel.
But I love how they're using the Street Profits. Like, they always were just kind of a side cast act, and now they're like being featured, and they're having great matches, and these guys are having good promos, and I'm like, finally, you freaking promote these guys, you know, the right way.
I know that you haven't caught up on Raw from this past week, but we got a Montez Ford Seth Rollins singles match on Raw. I mean, granted, I don't think it was that fantastic, but I think that it was mostly because I think they were trying to accomplish something, and I don't think it really came off the way they were hoping to. But anyways, I love that. I will also admit, maybe I was getting pretty sleepy at that point by the end of that event, so maybe that helped color my opinion of it a little bit more.
Could be.
I was starting to doze towards the end of the main event, so that might have been it. Yeah, it's like you and Frasier.
Oh God! Last night, folks, we recorded Week in Geek just to pull back the curtain a little bit, pull the kimono back. Week in Geek Wednesday. Week in Geek Wednesday was
so
recorded.
Violated every time you talk about pulling the kimono back. I don't know why.
Oh, have a drink of your chicken cock. All right, now, So last night had a little drinky poo of Old Forester. I had not slept well the night before. Probably about 3 hours of sleep 4 hours of sleep. We get towards the end of the show. End the show. Uncle Todd and I usually chat for a bit afterwards. We sign off. I go upstairs and I'm already feeling really sleep. Like that bourbon just hit me and I'm feeling sleepy. And I start to watch Frasier, which is kind of like my go-to, kind of comfort viewing sort of. Exactly. And so it starts playing and I'm starting to, watch the episode. And all of a sudden, like that, I start to hear the Frasier music again for the next episode starting. And I pop up and I look at my wife and I'm like, did I just sleep through that episode? And she's like, yep, you were snoring. It's just like, holy crap. I think I'm tired. So yes, it was a quick night of sleep for the man they call Tim, and I did sleep much better than I did the night before, so that was good.
That's the Old Forester for you.
It is the elixir of champions.
Yes. But yeah, the Penta Ethan Page match was pretty good. I thought that was.
What do you think of Ethan Page? Because I don't know. Have you seen him in action much? He's been a standout in NXT. He was in AEW going back 2-3 years. Was kind of featured and promoted. They had kind of a faction going where they had a guy who I think was forgetting his name. I think he was an MMA coach, but he was just he was kind of coming in and he's kind of being that traditional heel where he didn't like professional wrestling, so he was trying to ruin it. And he had this like group of guys that he was kind of trying to be the ones that wreak havoc or whatever. And Ethan Page was one of them. Great cocky heel. Mm-hmm. Never really got to see him under the spotlight. I mean, the one thing that stood out to me is both Penta and Ethan Page were in AEW back in the early 2020s. Mm-hmm. And it was so interesting to see how both of them look like $1 million now coming down the aisle. Ethan Page, like the way they promote him and they even adjusted his theme music a little bit because there was kind of like a singing portion to it and they kind of eliminated that and tweaked his music slightly and it really fits his character much better now.
Yeah.
Loved how his presentation was excellent. Penta, of course, is just like off the chart. And I love the fact as the guy walks the aisle, he is literally trying to tag any kid's hand that he can and pose for. I mean, it was just so it was so cool to see. Like the guy is definitely a man of the people.
Yes.
Champion of the people. And so my gosh, just to see the difference in how those two are presented in this organization versus where they were before is just amazing.
Well, Ethan Page comes off a little bit as a modern version of Mr. Perfect, like that smarmy heel, but it's kind of a no nonsense sort of thing. Like it's a very stripped down image. Yeah. There's not a lot of fat on the gimmick, if you will. He's just an a-hole.
It's funny that you say that because I was curious how his gimmick was going to play on the main roster. Like all ego Ethan Page, where he basically points at his smile. I'm like, what is that going to do on the main roster? And he's making it work. I didn't think it was going to work in NXT. I thought when I heard what his that he was this all ego character, I'm kind of like, well, what the hell does that even mean? And is he just going to be this sort of vanilla heel? I think I'm better than everyone sort of thing. But he's made it work. I mean, he at one point was with Chelsea Green as they held the mixed tag champs in AAA. He was North American champion where he turned the belt into, because it's North America, not the U.S. Mm-hmm. And he's from Canada. He turned it into a Canadian belt, which was hysterical.
Well, that's always a good one. I mean, that served Lance Storm really well for many years.
Of course. But no, I mean, just he's done a lot with the gimmick in terms of getting himself over. And now it's great to see that he's doing the same, here. I'm just curious how long it's going to last. Like, is this eventually going to a place where he does finally upend Penta and then he goes on his own Intercontinental run? I don't know, but I like your analogy to Mr. Perfect. It's just to your point, I feel like he's riding a razor's edge between being a really good heel and a compelling character and becoming almost like a caricature, of that, and that sort of thing.
But I also feel like, in a way, like his work to me, like ring work, felt pretty crisp.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that's what made the match great. Was like he was on the money and Penta was Penta,
So it wasn't just it's not just like the trappings of the gimmick.
Yeah,
that made me think Mr. Perfect, because I mean Kurt Hennig was freaking sharp ass wrestler. Like that dude could do it all, work with anybody, all that stuff. Like, he was a solid hand.
He was incredible.
Solid hand, let me tell you.
Solid hand.
And Ethan Page is kind of the same thing. I was like, okay, this dude knows how to freaking work. Like, okay, I can kind of see the comparison here. No, I thought he was good, and I think there's a little bit of a continuation with that on Raw. We'll see where it goes, and I mean, it never hurts to have another heel around that I feel like this is a guy that, granted, I've only seen a little bit of him, but I'm like, I feel like this is someone who could definitely work with pretty much anyone in the mid card, and then could also kind of orbit around the lower upper card once he's been there a little while. Like, this is a believable guy who could get a rando title shot at some point and maybe not win, and that's fine. But it's like, this is a dude who could believably work with a lot of different people. And that's something you desperately need in any promotion. You need to have those couple people who can work with anybody and make a lot of people look good. There was a story, who was it on? I think it was on one of the 18 podcasts that WWE does. I think it was Triple H who talked about it, and it made a lot of sense. And I think he might have been, maybe talking specifically to some folks on the roster or not, but he told the story about Arn Anderson and about how people were griping about, oh, I don't get this and that and the other. And, they were asking Arn about this. And he's like, you guys look up to me and you think I had this great career. He was like, I never main evented anything unless I was with Flair. He's like, I was a mid-carder my entire career. He's like, I was a mid-carder. Nothing more. He's like, I was there to make other people look good and get them over. And he's like, the only time I was main eventing anything, I was in a match with Flair. That was it. And I'm like, wow, that really is. But his career is because of the longevity and also making people look good. But yeah, he was a mid-carder, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I mean, it's like Ethan Page, like, saying he's a mid-carder, that's not a slight against him. Like, it takes a lot of work to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But what a great match between these two. The action, I took some notes. Honestly, I was taking notes for at least the first probably 3/4 of it. When we got to the two tag matches, I was on a train and, trying to wrap up work tonight. So I just didn't have time to take notes. But even on this one, it was hard to note the action was so fast at times. I just have a note, just about how Page, this is a great showcase showing how Page is capable of taking Penta to his limit. I'm trying to see, nice avalanche slam by Page and with Penta kicking out. Crowd was going nuts for this match. It was a great crowd all around. Yes. And then, and I absolutely love the Mexican Destroyer where Penta, kind of jumps off the middle rope and does kind of the somersault, and then it flips it into a Mexican Destroyer. It just looks nasty as hell. It's incredible.
When he has somebody that keeps up with him, he had a match with Javon Evans on Raw this past Monday. That it had some spots that were a little iffy. I kind of chalk that up to, Evans maybe not having as much seasoning, but maybe just the two not, I don't know. So it might have been just an off night, because there's a couple things on Raw where I was just like, man, it's kind of everyone's having a night here. There's a couple spots in every match where I'm like, I don't think that's the way you planned it out. But yeah, when Penta has somebody that can keep up with him and they get into a rhythm, as fun to watch as anybody working right now. Just the stuff he does and the way he does it. It's just, he is a pleasure to watch, and just how over he is. And it's fun to watch, like, just how people have taken to him.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And he's not a, you know, I love how throughout the event they were doing kind of almost like the history of the belt. You know, they did it for the tag belts, they did it for the Intercontinental belt, and it has been the workers belt. And I love how with Penta, he's not a worker champion in the traditional sense of like the Bret Harts and the Mr. Perfects, and you know, where it's all about being a great technical wrestler. Yeah. He's a great wrestler. He's a great luchador, and yet at the same time, there's something about him, you know, with his presence and with his mystique and with his aura, that he does come across as that workers champion. You know, like he is. Now, part of it is the way he's being presented and the character being a fighting champion and so forth. But, you know, I think the year and a half that they invested in him since the time he's arrived, building him up to the point where I mean, not year and a half, but a little shy of it, where he wins the belt and, you know, goes on defending it and so forth is, you know, like you want to see him have like a long title reign because of who he is. And when he does eventually lose the belt, it isn't going to damage his character one iota because the fans love him.
He'll be even more over because if he loses, then they'll want to rally around him. It's like that type of thing. It's not like, oh, next. It's like, no, oh my gosh, I want a rematch. You know, that sort of thing. Yeah, no, totally. Absolutely. And I wonder if it's, and I'm not educated enough in Lucha Libre to say whether or not, but I wonder if it's just he is so good that people are looking at it and going like, I might not know Lucha Libre and all this, but I'm kind of coming to understand what that style means because, I mean, you've seen enough Rey Mysterio, even the El Grande Americano stuff. Like both Gable and Kaiser are working luchador style and doing it friggin' really well for two guys who that's not kind of the way that they were, I'm guessing, you know, brought up in wrestling. They've taken to the style really well, but there's a different pace to matches and things like that. I wonder if people are kind of, because there's just enough exposure to it, they're like, okay, I kind of know a little about Lucha Libre, and this guy's really friggin' good at it. Yeah. You know, and so it's almost like he's not the traditional Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man, you know, Bret Hart, those kind of cats, but it's like from where he's coming from, he is the equivalent of that. You know, like the best worker in that style. So it'd be the kind of the equivalent of what we normally see there. I wonder if that's part of it.
Could be.
Maybe.
All
right. Well, that just about catches us up for everything so far, right?
Well, we didn't talk about the Street Profits and the Vision.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. We mentioned it and then we jumped right on.
Which was, I mean, that I just watched it, you know, kind of before we recorded, and I was actually blown away with how hot the crowd was for it. I mean, this was a tag match for the belts. You know, they've been doing a good build, you know, toward these two teams facing off, and man, they were, you know, just the flow of the match, and that to me is like the night and day aspect of how the event started with the six women tag, and how it ended with that match is. It becomes a very stark thing that stands out when fluidity is not present in the action in a match. I mean, these guys put together a, you know, what I felt was just, you know, probably one of the better tag matches we've seen in a while. You know, there was just a lot of action. You know, Logan Paul and Austin Theory controlled things. I do think the rehabilitation of Austin Theory is working. I sometimes, when I see him, I kind of fall back to how I viewed him a couple of years ago when they were trying to shove him down our throats as the U.S. champ, you know, beating John Cena. Yeah. But now, like, I feel like, you know, the way he's kind of built himself back up, and again, the fact that he's able to kind of, you know, rocket out of what he was with Grayson Waller. I mean, he was basically a joke act, and that's a very challenging thing to probably have to come back in and reestablish yourself as a badass, as something to be dealt with and feared. And he doesn't play it over the top. He plays it just about right. And I think, you know, and who knows, being with Heyman is probably working wonders for the kid, you know?
Well, I will say on Raw, he does have a prominent role on Raw this week. And I would contend like he hasn't taken it over the top until now. And, and really? He kind of, it does level up a little bit on Raw. So again, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I will say,
thank you.
Yeah. But we had talked about this before, I think, you know, where I one of us had said like, you should really try and figure out a way to rehabilitate this kid. Like he's got talent. He just needs to he needs time away so that people forget like the cheesy A-Town Down and all of the other stuff. And just give him a chance, give him some separation, make him look different, which they have.
Yep.
And let him try something different. And go figure, it works rather than just trying to pound away at the same thing. Like, well, it's not working. Maybe if we hit him harder with it. Nope.
Yep. And we got to talk about the spot of the night, which is instead of Braun Breaker, spearing someone at 23 miles an hour, Braun Breaker goes fly across the announce table. That shoulder block. I mean, the timing was a little bit off, I think, but man alive, the way he flew, I was just like, and that bump was not. I think when you saw Breaker wincing in pain, he was wincing in real pain because there's no way to protect yourself from taking a chair arm in the back the way landed on him. Oh my God.
I think of like times that I have just like hit, like stood up quick and like caught myself in the back with something. And I'm like, how paralyzing that is. Like doing that on live television, then going, okay, and now I need to keep my wits about me because I've got the next 5 things I need to do.
Yep.
Jeez.
Oh, it was brutal. It was brutal to watch, but definitely a high point. Montez Ford doing that leap that he does over the turnbuckle and the pole and the pole that's there, the ring post.
Gosh,
holy crap, man! How he gets the height and the forward momentum and not kill himself in the process is something to behold.
Yes.
But I did catch at the very end of the match, I did catch the point where Logan Paul basically suffers the tricep injury because it was when Dawkins kind of ran and launched himself over
triceps.
He's torn his tricep. Yeah. Like right after that, he goes down with Dawkins landing on him. And you just hear like, I'm not someone to usually have sympathy for Logan Paul, but all of a sudden you hear this, like, oh God, like, and he's grabbing his left arm right away. It's like, oh crap, that doesn't sound good. And he might be selling, but I think he's really in pain. So
well, it's really easy to sell.
Oh my God,
it's method acting, if you will.
It is.
It's like Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm going to tear my tricep for real.
Yeah.
Or you could just try acting, pretend. It's easier.
Come on, scissors.
Well, there was that story about Dustin Hoffman doing that, and he was like acting opposite Laurence Olivier.
Good Lord.
And Dustin Hoffman is doing the method thing, and Laurence Olivier apparently just looked at him. He's like, "My dear boy, have you ever considered acting?"
Yeah.
Essentially, like, just pretend.
Yeah.
What is with all this thing you're doing? Just pretend.
Yeah.
And there it is.
It'll be.
Overall, it was a pretty. It wasn't anything earth shattering, but it was a fun 2-hour event. I didn't feel like I was viciously cheated of anything.
No, I felt this was the right use of Saturday Night's Main Event because it was highlighting talent that some of the talent does normally get highlighted, but it was also opening up space for talent that are not normally featured, at the main event or semi-main event level. Getting him that spotlight. I agree with you. I think it would have made more sense to have Penta and Ethan Page go at it at the end. But yet that tag match was,
man, I agree with you. You sold me on it. I think that was the right move.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a hot main event. The crowd was into it. They were into the near falls. There was a couple times Street Profits almost pulled it off and the crowd was like with them all the way. And so, no, I think it was a well-booked event and, minus, I'd like to see some of the women's matches get tightened up a little bit and that sort of thing. But otherwise, it was a pleasure to watch. And now we turn our attention to Italy.
Well, I need to take a break here real quick. I have some familial obligations that I need to take care of.
Indeed.
And also I have to use the bathroom. So.
Let's just call a spade a spade.
It's a twofer,
It is.
All right, right back.
A few moments later.
So,
are we ready to turn our attention to the land of wine and pasta?
Yes. Oh, God, I would love some pasta right now.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep. You're off carbs. I can't eat real pasta. Ugh. All right, so this is going to be very interesting. This is a Sunday that's coming Sunday, May 31st, at the Inalpi Arena in Turin, Italy. First ever WWE streaming event from Italy. So it's kind of interesting now how this is just because didn't they do? So it was Clash at the Castle was the Scottish ones.
Yes.
And then was it Clash in Berlin?
I think so. And then there was one in Paris.
Yeah, so it's just now traditionally like any international pay-per-view that isn't one of the big four is going to be Clash in whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. And originally, I don't think either of us had anticipated we were going to talk about this event much. But son of a bitch, like they're loading this one for bear.
You had to remind me of the fact that this was taking place in the afternoon. Here I am thinking, oh, I just got to watch on Sunday night. And I'm like, oh, crap, that's right there in Europe. Damn it.
Well, so they're doing Raw. So they're doing this event on Sunday.
Yes.
And then they're doing, because you have to compromise one or the other. So I forget where they're doing SmackDown. But then I guess travel is going to be on Saturday. Sunday they're doing the PLE, and then Monday they're actually doing Raw from Turin as well. Okay. So not only do we get a 2 p.m. if you're on the East Coast start for Clash in Italy, we get a 2 p.m. Start on Monday for Raw because it's going to be 8 o'clock local there. So if you're on the West Coast, it's 11 a.m. You're going to be
and you're watching Perspectives and Raw.
I mean, whatever. I guess.
Hey, if anything, I'll be catching the tail end of the event as I get on the train on Monday. So,
there you go.
Always got to look on the bright side of life. But yeah, this is a stacked card, my friend.
This is
stacked.
This is like one night of WrestleMania. Like that is how loaded this is. Of course, you would never have the two, but we've got both men's heavyweight champions being defended. We've got the WWE Women's Championship. Of course. Then we've got the Women's IC Championship, and then we've got one of the most anticipated rematches in recent memory, or if you believe Paul Heyman, the greatest rematch in all of professional history. History. No stranger to hyperbole is Heyman.
No, not at all.
So we were kind of put into a position with this one. It's like, well, we got to talk about this because if not, I mean, what are we going to talk about? This is a gigantic card for this kind of nondescript, non-Big Four, event that's happening. So
yes,
damn.
Yes.
I'm gonna guess we want to start at the bottom and work our way up. Although you could make a case for going the other direction as well.
I'm fine with starting at the. This is a Brock Lesnar match, so I'm assuming this will be jerking the curtain. So.
Yes. Brock wants to get home, or he's gonna get to it. Actually,
he's got a Concorde warmed up on the tarmac, waiting to zip him back to good old Canada. So
I was gonna say that like he must be heading out early to get some linguine, but I think Brock is keto, so he's not messing with the pasta at all.
Fellow brother in ketoism.
Yeah,
I love it.
Do you go out and kill elk with your bare hand as well?
I do not. No.
Yeah, well, that's your distant cousins then.
Although I got to tell you on Wait Don't Tell Me this weekend,
I'm kind of frightened where you're going to follow up from that.
No. It's related because you said killing elk with your bare hand. They were interviewing Brandi Carlile, the musician, and she
goes out hunting like with her bare hands.
Not she, but growing up in Washington State, she lived in kind of a rural area, and apparently, her father would sometimes their dinner would be the elk that he would shoot from the window of their house. So literally would take a shot from the house through the window, take the elk down, bring him in, skin him, get him set for dinner. I mean, she's like, yeah, that was what we ate sometimes. I'm like, Brock Lesnar would be proud.
Hey, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and that's essentially like a drive-through window, like literally.
That's what one of the panelists said. Like they were joking about he literally would shoot him through, and she's like, yeah, he would do. And then one of the guys I think his name is Luke Burbank. He's like, hey, it's kind of like a reverse drive-through
I mean, it's slightly more work, and a lot louder. But,
oh my gosh! But you are right. I'm sure Brock has some sort of warm-blooded creature to go take down, so so he can have his daily dose of protein.
Maybe he's going into the Italian Alps to kill something. Who knows?
Could be.
But
yes, there's a shudder in the forest of the Italian woods and such. So.
But yeah, more than likely, leading this one off is Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi 2, which is apparently that is what they were promoting it on as on Raw. We're now labeling this with numbers, so I'm having a feeling that this is going to be a trio of matches. I don't think we're just getting 2 here. So Obafemi took the first one. We've got the rematch here, the surprise return of Brock last week.
This would be Oba versus Brock Due. In Italian.
Thank you, sir. You cultured son of a bitch, you.
Bring that in a little bit. Do it.
Appreciate it.
All right. Sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I mean, who do you think is going to win this one?
Well, there's there's many schools of there's many schools of thoughts that go into a match like this. If we go back to the late 70s, early 80s of professional wrestling, one would reference the trilogy of matches.
Cornette would have hit you with his tennis racket right now. I just want to let you know that. Whack! Get to the point.
Sorry, I'm trying to do my best Norm from Cheers routine.
No, it's Cliff Clavin.
Oh, sorry, Cliff Clavin. You're right. I said Norm.
So the great story about that is apparently he went into John Ratzenberger went into, I think he auditioned for Norm or one of the other parts and didn't get it. And then as he's walking out or kind of, he's like, well, do you got a bar know-it-all? And like, what do you mean? He's like, well, every bar that you go to, there's always that one guy who knows everything. And will always chime in with all these. And he kind of pitched the character of Cliff Clavin. And I think he even might have come up with like, well, he'd be a mailman because, he would have all this knowledge from, like he would collect it and all that. And kind of like pitched a vague sketch of Cliff Clavin. And then that's how he ended up getting on the show, which is kind of funny. It's a very much like, I think that's what happened with Stallone with Rocky. Like he essentially was like pitching it on the way out the door for something else, and it's like, always have those ideas right in your back pocket, or just be able to just keep going until they literally close the door in your face. And another thing. But anyways, so who do you got winning this one, sir?
Well, this is what's hard for me because on the one hand, I can see this being a trilogy of matches where you have Lesnar Lesnar win here. So it's 1-1 and then you work your way to a rubber match, which could be at SummerSlam where it's in Minneapolis. And there's talk that is truly going to be his last match. There's the other school of thinking that you want to keep Oba looking strong. And I don't know if they've touted him as being undefeated since his main roster call up. I think he is, but so that would be the only thing you'd be spoiling if he were to lose is that undefeated streak. And so they don't talk about it. So it's not something they're probably trying to protect.
Yeah.
But I could see a very interesting twist in what if Oba does route him again? Like, what does that actually lead? Now, there was talk. I do remember reading on Cage Side Seats, and this was before WrestleMania, like I think back in February, that there was talk that Lesnar, I don't know if he gave an interview or something, but he basically said like he did not want to lose his final match. Like he wanted to go out strong or something like that. And so could it be that Oba goes up again? And then there is a third match where Brock, does go over and finally conquers, but it's more of a respect thing at that point because he's really truly kind of hanging it up at that point. I talk through this stuff and I'm trying to sound like, not trying to sound, but it's like you try to apply logic from past history and how they would do this. And then the event happens and we come back together to adjudicate this. And it's like, damn, they just went the simple route and just did this, It was just like, so I'm like, am I overthinking it by going down the Oba route? Am I overthinking it if I go the Brock route? I mean, if they're going to do another like Brock Cody trilogy of matches over the next couple of months, then conventional wisdom would say Brock wins this one. God, but there's a part of me that just is like, what would it do for Oba's mystique if he were to take Brock out a second time? Oh,
well, here's how I think we could have our cake and eat it too. May I pose another theory?
mm-hmm.
What if we get into the match, and it is competitive. It's more competitive than WrestleMania, but Oba is overall getting the better of Brock.
Yes.
What if Brock does something to get the DQ?
So Oba wins, but Brock, okay.
But Brock can say, "You didn't beat me," and then because I mean it's good,
and then it makes him even more of a hated heel because he robbed the fans of their just desserts and seeing Oba conquer him a second time.
Well, and then it also makes more sense that you would have, because if let's just say this is the second of third, and the third will be at SummerSlam. Well, we've got all of June, July before we get to August, and I think SummerSlam is kind of early August this year, if I remember right. But that's still an awfully long time. But if you have kind of this back and forth, and Heyman can kind of act as the intermediary, and I don't want to, again, Heyman comes out, he opens Raw this week, talking about Oba, talking about the match, all of that, and Oba comes out, and it's one of the things that I do appreciate about Oba is that I feel like the more that he's on TV and the more that he gets a chance to do promos, he's getting much more comfortable with like giving promos on the main roster in this way that it's befitting of a man of his stature and attitude and of the aura that he has, where he's not necessarily just shouting all the time, and at one point, Heyman's whole point in the promo is like, you've awakened the beast in Brock Lesnar, and what are you going to do, and all that. And Oba comes out and he's like, he signs the contract and literally has Heyman in the corner, signs the contract on Heyman's shoulder as he's standing there, just,
which I did watch it on YouTube and absolutely love Heyman. Like you hear him just a little bit. I'm an advocate. It's like diplomatic immunity.
Yes. And there's Oba like playing the Danny Glover decaffeinated, which is cheesy, but at the same time, I will watch that moment. I will watch that movie at the drop of a hat. Lethal Weapon 1, Lethal Weapon 2, so, like great back-to-back action movies. Anyways,
check it out, folks. Check it out.
But when Oba Femi is like, "What do you think he's awakened in me?" He's like, I fought him to win last time. This time, I fight to kill him." And like the thing is, when someone of Oba's size and overall musculature and athletic ability says that, I've said before, like even if I know it's a work and Oba's walking down the aisle to me saying, "I will kill you tonight," I'm running. Even if I know it's all a work. I'm sorry.
I should have asked you
Paul.
Before we talked about this match.
Out.
I should have asked you to come on, do the strut, baby.
Oh no, that's my wife. She loves the Oba strut. She does like every time.
No, I know, but you have the space. I don't have the space. I have my bourbon right behind me. I can't get all like fired up and do that. You at least have space. You do the flair.
Well, that's the one thing. I did appreciate. Apparently, Charlotte did that at some event. Did the flair strut, and I was like,
"Oh, did she?"
And I like that is one of the things I give a little bit of extra pass to, going back for just a moment to Saturday Night's Main Event. I give always a little bit of a pass for Charlotte right now because it is actually just so nice to see her having fun.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, she's still good and all that, and maybe she's not as good as she was because, I mean, who is, like, when we're 20 years on in our career and all that, like, Father Time is undefeated, right? So at this point, it's just good to see her actually enjoying what she's doing, and then to hear her say that she's having the most fun she's ever had and all that. Like, I'm happy for someone who's had as much stuff in her life. Having Ric Flair as your dad is a whole, like, you need a team of psychologists for that. You can't just have one. You need a team because they need to tag in and out. Like, I'm sorry, I need to go collect myself. We need Phil, you come in. But anyways, back to this. But like when Oba says that, there is an impact to that. So it's like I could see this, just the match going again, like going against Brock, and Brock doing something like kind of almost doing the thing that we don't imagine, like the next thing that you don't expect Brock to do. The first being lose, the second being like pull a chicken shit move, like do something to get a DQ so you can get out of the match.
Yeah.
So you can avoid actually eating the pin.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens again, now it's like we're seeing this happen. Like that's another way that you could make Oba still look strong, but also Brock doesn't actually eat the pin.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have this chase, because he can even say, well, you didn't beat me. You didn't beat me. I don't need to have another match. You didn't actually beat me. And Oba having to like pull him back for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
That would be my theory. That being said, I think the traditional wisdom is, Brock has got to win so that you then have the rubber match.
Yeah.
Because you could kind of play the same game with the delaying tactic there, where Brock gets his win and he's like, okay, I'm going back to Saskatchewan. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, go ahead and stamp that retirement paper.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Brock because again, like you so well put, it usually is a straight line. I'm done being clever here. I think it's going to be Brock. I'm going to give this one 3 3/4 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, again, like if you're going to have a good Hoss match, like give me 2 other Hosses right now who could do this better.
Yeah.
Brock can still move, and Oba's friggin' hasn't even hit his peak yet, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I right
Did
now
on the DQ? Did I sell you on it?
You didn't sell me on the DQ.
Damn it. All right.
I am going to overthink this. I have a 9-point lead right now in our annual series that we're doing, our if you will, the Free Range Idiocy Classic.
We're not even halfway through the year and you're already playing strategy. I love it.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go Obafemi on this one. I think they're going to go, against tradition, against what would normally be done. I have to do it like this because I can't stand up and you see me and anything. So, but I'm going to go with you on the star rating, because these two, when they get together, it is, it's not the star rating based on the technical that happens in the match, but it's the environment, it's the crowd, it's the way they react to the action, and it's the way the action plays out between these two. These are two heavy hitters that are going to throw some thunderous bombs on each other, and it's going to be glorious to watch. And so I'm going to go Obafemi on this one. Once again, I'm going to kill the beast. So I don't think he'll kill him, but he'll give him a whooping. He'll give him a whooping. All right. That brings us to the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Not just, I'm not the only one saying it. ESPN says it. The Bleacher Report says it. Oh my God.
As much as I hate it, I like respect. Like when someone interrupts her, she goes back and starts again.
She starts it over again. She is just wonderful at playing the heel that you just want to see taken out. You know what I mean?
An unhinged heel at this point. Like there is very few tethers between the Becky Lynch character right now and reality.
Yes.
And I kind of like that, Yes.
And so we saw in Saturday night's main event, Becky get outclassed by Sol Ruca. Mm-hmm. Not that I think they're going to do the same thing. I think it'll probably be a little more of a competitive match. But I do think we are going to see the crowning of a new champion in this match. I think they're going to give it to Sol, even though she hasn't hit a clean soul snatcher. I'm going to go 3.5 on this one. I think Sol Ruca is going to be crowned the new Le Champion in Italy.
A little bit of the bubbly.
And I think it's going to be a 3.5 star affair. It'll be a good match between the ladies. And I do predict that Sol will hit a soul snatcher clean on Becky.
Your side bets?
I'm not putting a side bet down. No, not yet. But that would be a good one. Although
that's what I'm going with.
You're going to go with what?
I'm going to go with a clean soul snatcher.
Clean soul snatcher. Are you going to say on who?
I'm assuming Becky.
I'm sorry, sir. We saw Jessica Carr get a soul snatcher. It could be on her.
That is my other side bet. Jessica Carr will be the official of record for this match. And you know what? Here's the thing. Like, please, dear God, in the name of all that is holy, okay, so I'm actually gonna echo you exactly, because I think Saul wins it. I think 3.5 is definitely a good.
I don't see these two going into a 4-star match. I just don't. I don't feel it,
because I think Saul is capable of that. I just don't know that Becky is. I think Becky is going to be running to keep up, because Saul, again, what, 10, 15 years younger, and also a friggin' trained gymnast. Holy crap. It's just that's never been Becky's thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this would be the opportune time, if you're going to crown, oh my gosh, what was it? Dennis, what was the head coach's name? Head coach of the Vikings. He's like, if you want to crown them, crown their ass. Dennis.
You're killing me. Dennis Green. Dennis Green.
Thank you. If we're going to crown Saul,
that was the Bears he was talking about, by the way, folks.
Yeah. If we're going to crown Saul, this would be the perfect time to finally pivot to the Jessica Carr feud. Like, we've now had her at the heart of everything going on with Becky for.
I got a side bet number 2. Jessica Carr gets physical with Becky. I think we're going to see Jessica Carr lay a bomb on Becky, because she's like, no.
Finally.
No more am I going to be thrown around by you in your shenanigans.
Well, she got physical at WrestleMania. She pushed her back.
But it's the next level of physicality. We're
I
going to see a punch.
I want to see Jessica working.
We're going to see her get physical, because we're going to start the build towards SummerSlam, where it will be Jessica Carr versus Becky Lynch.
Yes, and you know what? Not the evil ref. I want to see her as the good Danny Davis.
That's right.
Dangerous Jessica Carr.
By the way, Danny Davis, a native of New Hampshire. Just want to point that out.
Of Dover, New Hampshire.
Yes,
sir. Actually,
never saw him roaming around the town, though. So
could we somehow get him to come back as Jessica Carr's manager?
Okay, that would be funny.
That would be funny. So freaking
Could we get Jimmy Hart to come back and bring the megaphone?
No, I don't care about Jimmy Hart. I want Danny Davis, because we have a ref wrestling. I mean, that's the last time we had
I know, but Jimmy was Danny's manager.
So we have a manager for the manager? It's kind of a hat on a hat, isn't it?
Well, no, I'm just saying Danny comes, but he brings Jimmy as kind of the wise man.
I think Jimmy, after his last appearance with Hogan, he's had enough. He's like, yeah, I don't need to be on live TV, baby. I'm good.
He might want to redeem himself after that.
Outing, maybe, but at the same time, like, why risk it?
All right, so we're both going with we're super exciting here. Same star rating for 2 matches between us. I have Oba, you have Brock. We both have Soul. Okay, so we get to the WWE Women's Championship match with the reigning, defending champion, ravishing Rhea Ripley taking on jumping Jade Cargill.
She is the interwebs darling. I mean,
she is. This match, I'm going to go. Honestly, this is the match I'm least excited about, because as much as they've been doing the traditional build where Jade's been getting pins on Rhea left, right, and center, the outcome of this match seems pretty clear to me, and I think it can be a good match. I'm kind of, if anything, I'm kind of curious to see what Cargill does offensively in this match. Are we seeing more of a kind of shielding her from doing too much because of whatever they're trying to shield her from? Or do we see a good match between these two? Their match at WrestleMania was but I mean, Rhea always, kind of brings the thunder and brings the excitement. And I think this will be a successful title defense for the Ripley one. And so I'm going to say Rhea Ripley.
The Ripley one?
Yeah.
At least go with, like, believe it or not, Ripley's going to win. Like, something like the Ripley one?
I don't know. I was just rolling.
The talented Mrs. Ripley. Like, these are all right there, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't possess your snap wit. What I thought I was on a roll. Will you just
Okay, well,
goodness gracious.
sorry.
If I'm not saying the name right, it's what I say. If it's not what I say, it's how I'm saying the name. There's no pleasing you. You know what I mean?
Well, no, really.
No, there's not. I'm going to say 3 stars on this one.
Okay.
Son of a gun.
So I have another idea, and I will leave it to you because you, sir, again, just as you so precisely diagnosed me with my asshole.
Apparently, I'm not that good because I can't come up with the talented Mrs. Ripley. Oh, sweet Moses!
Here I am trying to shine your apple, and you're just not even going to let me do that.
I'm still recovering from the insult. You have besmirched the good name of the man they called him.
Maybe Charlotte Flair can lend you one of her team of psychologists to help you.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Peel one off for you. I think Rick's had a slow week, so maybe maybe she doesn't need all 12 of them this week.
Oh God. Oh goodness gracious! All right, what is your other take on this, sir?
What if they've been kind of like, in a way, like when you have like go-karts or even like fleet vehicles for companies, they put a governor on them, so it's like this vehicle cannot exceed 65 miles an hour or something like that. Or when you're on a go-kart, like they only let them go so fast so that little Johnny doesn't go flying off off the track and tumble over tires and explode.
Sure.
What if in this match, we get Jade Cargill snapping and kind of like in that way almost achieving her full potential? Like it takes her just plugging into a degree of anger and rage that we have not seen, that also would then tie into just the physical strength that we see with her. Like you see her and you're like, dear God, this is a person who like dumbbells cower in fear of. What if that happens and she like loses it and then just destroys Rhea Ripley and then goes on to just have this run? And that it's kind of all been a head fake to build to this point, and just so that she can not just beat Rhea, but she annihilates her. And I'm not saying that she won't have her little posse there, but what if Io is makes the run in and all of that stuff ends up getting canceled out, and it just ends up being Jade Rhea 1-on-1, and Jade just lays waste to her, and then Rhea goes away for a little while. I mean, there is part of me that I just, something about how they've used Jade just doesn't sit right, especially with how much kind of pomp and circumstance she got when she debuted at the Rumble.
I would agree.
And with just the look, and I mean, obviously they signed her because there's something there they think they can utilize. Like, has this whole thing been a real slow burn to get us to this point? I'm going to go with Jade.
What?
I know.
Wow.
I think it's the move, because if you're
all right,
again, Rhea doesn't need the belt.
I think she does.
I don't think she does. I mean, she'll even if Jade like breaks her down to dust and she goes away for a few weeks and she comes back, as soon as you hear "this is my brutality," the arena is going to explode. Okay. Whether she's there last week or it'll be a slightly bigger explosion if she hasn't been around for a few weeks. I think this is a really great way to elevate Jade and to make this into a next feud that will just continue to go on a little while, because that's one of the things, like, we haven't seen long form storytelling with the women's division unless it's like kind of rotating around Dom Mysterio, which so I think Jade Cargill goes over. Okay.
I hear a lot of aspirational thoughts here, so
I am going to I'm going to go with a 3.25. Because I don't want to stick with the same. Even though I feel like you might be a little more correct in yours, I'm going to stick with my aspirational.
Okay.
And depending on how this turns out, you can choose how many S's to spell that with. Thoughts here. So that's where I'm going to go with.
Do you have any side bets you want to register here? Because there's always the chance that B-Fab and Mitchin, stick their nose into Rhea's business.
I'm going to go with an EO run-in. We haven't seen her for a little while.
Okay.
It's about time we hear a little bit from EO.
Okay. I'm not going to go with any side bets on this one. I'm
Okay.
going to just let it be what it is, and I think Rhea's going to go over, and she will move on to another challenger. Jade, I don't know what the heck she's going to do after this, but
well, that's the other thing. Like, if they don't continue this, like, how do you downshift Jade?
unless she gets involved in the U.S. championship scene,
Yeah.
But that feels like kind of a demotion in a way.
Oh, it's a total demotion right after this. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. All right. Well, we are different on the winner and slightly different on the star rating. So we will see what happens. For the record, folks, Uncle Todd believes Jade is going to snap like a turtle who's hungry and will start whooping on Rhea, and Rhea's going to disappear, and Jade's going to reign supreme with another wonderful title reign.
Shamrock, but I mean,
where she never defends the belt. So,
well, no, this is where I think that would change. I think that she will then defend the belt. I think that it not necessarily a fighting champion, but I think that it becomes, this is the catalyst.
I just want to remind you about how your aspirations paid off in the Real and Jabroni.
You know what? I'm going to play this one fearlessly.
Look at that. Look at that.
Like laughing Liam and freaking Ted Lasso.
Well, Oh, yes.
I love that they mentioned that character once earlier, and then when they finally showed him on screen, I'm like, that's exactly what Liam ought to look like. He ought to be the kind of he's like a big dude who's kind of dorky, but yet endearing. Like, it's all the things. I'm like, yes. And then especially the moment when Roy walks by with a tie-dyed shirt and Liam starts laughing at him, and then Roy gives him the look. He's like, like, dude, you're twice his size.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyways.
That is funny. All right. Our next match is for the strap, baby. For the World Heavyweight Championship.
Excuse me. World's Heavyweight Championship. Let's go. No, I'm just saying.
God.
It just sounds better the way that Ric Flair would always say it.
Oh, God.
For
real.
Heavyweight.
World's Heavyweight Championship.
Yes.
All right. And it will be contested in tribal combat, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh.
It is the man, the myth, the legend, Roman Reigns, the OTC, taking on Yaramin Jacob Fatu.
Where'd that come from? Like,
I just love the fact that he does that. I think that's beautiful. It is like the cherry on top of the promo when he lays some verbiage down and ends it with Yaramin. It's like, all right, I do, and I like it.
So I think the funny thing about this is, of course, we've had Jacob dancing on the ledge of getting fired. But then on Raw this past week, I don't know if you caught this bit on YouTube or whatever.
I did. Yes.
But there was a bit before that with Pierce and Roman backstage, and Roman be like, I didn't think he even knew what tribal combat was, or something to that. Like, he didn't think that Jacob would understand this. I'm like, okay, that's interesting, because I know that we've done this at least once on a pay-per-view. So are you trying to pretend like that didn't happen in the public eye? Does Jacob not have the internet? Okay. But then Roman goes out to the ring and he tells everyone to go away because, Jacob took a blood oath and he knows he can't lay a hand on me before the match. And I'm like, whoa. I thought you didn't think Jacob understood what tribal combat was, and now all of a sudden, like, we know all the traditions and the intricacies surrounding this. Like, it's just known in the friggin' Samoan family. I'm like, pick one, Roman. Yeah. Like, at least a vague sense of friggin' just consistency would be a nice thing here. Oh my God, that was frustrating.
Yeah,
I don't like. Who went first on this last one? Was it you that went first?
I think I went first, and you, sir, had much to say about Jade Cargill and her apparent snapping, her mental state breaking down, and her becoming fully formed into the intended superstar she was always
Yes.
meant to be.
And that's how it's going to happen. She's going to emerge from her cocoon as a beautiful violent butterfly
All right.
with like 12-pack abs. But again,
Well-
I'll be like, I need to go do some sit-ups and some crunches and some push-ups.
So, interestingly enough, before
Yes.
we get into who's picking who here,
Okay.
CageSideSeats.com had an interesting article about has Jacob all like the fact that Jacob has already admitted defeat, and the premise of this is the fact that he made the statement, "If I lose, I still have a job," was kind of like him saying, or basically kind of like admitting, yeah, if I lose, then I'll be okay, and kind of this idea that he's content or complacent with the idea that losing is not a big deal. And it kind of spoils the match a little bit because now, basically fans seem to think he's just going to lose because Roman's going to, somehow beat him. I think it's the opposite. I think I saw the promo, I saw when he said that. And, again, he, this was not intended to be him off the chain, so to speak. He was, kind of playing the honorable Samoan here. I actually took it as he is not afraid to like he has nothing to lose.
Well, yeah.
At this point, I think his point to Roman is because they were both talking about what's going to happen if the other wins and walking the other like a dog and all this sort of thing. And I think he very calmly and very clearly says to Roman that he is not going into this match with any sort of fear about what's going to happen if I lose.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm going to have a job. I know I'm going to move forward. So with that being said, and I've gone first the last two matches. So do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I mean,
first?
I'll go if you want.
Why don't you go first? What is your pick? Because that will inform the way that I frame my pick. So said differently, what do you think of that? Like was that your impression of the promo when you saw it? Was he's got nothing to lose?
There's two ways to look at nothing to lose. Like you could have the person who literally just doesn't care. Like if I lose and I get fired, I don't care. If I win, then great. But if I lose, I just don't care. It's worth it. I'm willing to fall to the depths in order to reach for the mountaintop.
Yep.
The other one is, okay, great. You just took away my worst case scenario of my paycheck being gone. So if I got to serve you, that means I still got a job. So I have nothing to fear here.
Mm-hmm.
I will still be able to feed my family. And guess what? If I can still feed my family and I'm still here, you don't think I'm going to not come after your ass again?
Mm-hmm.
Keep me close. Keep me close. I'll bite you. You think you're going to domesticate the werewolf? That might work with a beagle. Not with me. So I like the way you kind of pointed that out, and I agree with you. I think that's a very astute observation, sir.
Thank you.
I think the tough thing here is, unless you really come up with a compelling story, the lazy way to do this is that Roman just retains. Because again, this is the reason why we have this belt they're fighting over in the first place, is because they couldn't. Once you have the belt on Roman and his entire personality is he's the OTC, the head of the table, the this and the that, and the blah, 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 blah. Like, how do you get the belt off of him without making him worthless?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think the interesting story here, and again, I might be getting into aspirational territory or just my own headcanon booking, fantasy booking. The interesting story here would be if Roman loses, and he is in many ways a broken man. The thing that could be interesting with that is if as he said, Jacob, then you become head of the table. You're in charge.
Mm-hmm.
I now serve under you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's almost like doing it in this cautionary way where would they actually go a route where Jacob takes over, Jacob wins the title, he's the head of the table, and we just watch Jacob completely F this thing up. Just little by little, just because he can't control himself, and Roman is there watching it all happen. And you could either go the broken route where Roman is just like, whatever, I lost. This is it. I'm nothing. Or he could be the guy who's just like, I knew this was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
He's even trying to help Jacob. And finally it comes down to like, Jacob, I need to fight you again to win the championship just to make sure that we don't burn this entire thing down.
Mm-hmm.
That could be interesting. I question whether or not creative has the huevos and the foresight to do something like that, because that takes a lot of guts and it's a lot of faith in Jacob and a lot of faith in how far fans are willing to go, and also how they will react to Roman. If you can portray Roman in such a way that he won't always get the bigger pop.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you could find a way to people stop singing along with Roman and to throw that weight behind Fatu, and then eventually manage to churn this thing in a way where satisfyingly we kind of come back around.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can manage to pull off like a redemptive arc for both of them within that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do they have the foresight, the huevos to actually do that? Or is this just another way of Roman smacking someone else down? I would love to say that I think that they do. I don't know that they do, but screw it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say they put the belt on Fatu. I think that this is, I'm going to go 3 3/4, pretty much solely on the back of Jacob. Because again, Roman is only as interesting as his opponent, and Jacob is an interesting opponent because he can be a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that could be interesting. Put me down for a side bet on Solo Sikoa interference, because I thought it was very interesting the way that Roman on Raw said, "You will say that you love me," and that was always Jacob's thing. I love you, Solo.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
So Solo's interfering on behalf of Jacob?
I'm just going to put Solo interference because I could see it either way. I think just even
come on, have some huevos and call it, my friend. No, Solo interference. You know what? I'm going to put aside, but Jacob breathes. Jacob breathes. That's what I'm going to say, because
I spend this in this way. Solo has been nowhere near any of this.
All right.
Solo is not associated with either of these cats right now. He's on the opposite program. The fact that he even shows up, that's the thing. Like, I wonder if there, again, like we could get too deep into the weeds here. All right, fine. Put me down. Solo interferes on behalf of Jacob. Go ahead.
I love that I talked you into that.
Not talk me into it. Fine. If you're gonna, I'll come down on the side of it. Like,
I love it.
But that could be very interesting. I thought it was. I mean,
I agree with you.
It could be like all those breadcrumbs that we saw about, Jericho's coming to WWE because they said the list or whatever. It's like it could be a complete nothing.
Yeah,
but it might be something. So
for the record, I think Solo Sikoa is one of the most underutilized talent. I know he has the MFT and he is featured on SmackDown. But man, is that guy freaking hysterical. Like, I've seen some reels with him.
Did you see him with Royce Keys?
You know what? No, I didn't, because of my lack of watching SmackDown. Was
he's
that
almost
pretty good?
trying to talk him into like joining him and like he's trying to get Royce to use a chair and all that, and Royce just literally doesn't even hit Solo the chair. He just throws it in his face and knocks him off the ring apron. It's wonderful.
No, so there. I got to send these to you on Instagram because I saved them. But there was I think a fan who took a couple videos.
Is this the barber one?
So the first one's the barber one. It's like, fire your barber, and he's thinking they're talking about the announcers like them. It's like, fire your barber, and he like, ooh.
Like, I love the fact that in that moment he's enough to be like, I'm going to give the fan credit for a little bit on that one. Like, I'll give you a
like just the look on his face is, that's cold.
but in the way, like, he kind of puts the fan over a little. I was like, that's freaking fantastic.
Yes.
Like,
the other one, same match. Damian Priest is staring him down, and he's just like backing off. He's basically like this, almost like right up against the barrier where those fans are. and they're just shouting. They're like, "You can take him, you can take," and he's like spinning around trying to like reorient himself to walk back to his chair. And at one moment he's facing them and he's like, "You could take him," and he's like, "Damn right." It's like a split second he does it, but it's like the look on his face. I'm like,
quick
my
on his
God,
feet, man. It's great.
This guy is comedy gold. They are not tapping into him enough. Oh my God.
I think they are. I think they're starting to utilize him more on SmackDown. The fact that they're even like putting him in, like associating him, putting him in Royce Key's orbit.
Yeah.
Like is interesting. So I think they are. And here's the thing, like, I think I told you about this last night or the night before. WrestleMania just had a video that I saw the other day. They're like, WWE is unwatchable, and I'm like I've watched SmackDown and Raw the last 2 weeks, which I don't always catch SmackDown, but I've the last 2 weeks I've managed to catch SmackDown. I watched both of those. I watched Backlash. I watched Saturday Night's Main Event. I've actually thoroughly enjoyed everything from Backlash on.
Okay.
Like even the stuff that's maybe not as great, I'm like, and maybe it's the fact that I went to AEW and I'm like, well, it could be worse. I've enjoyed them. Like, is everything absolute gold? No. But there's enough entertaining stuff, and it feels like, in a way, like since Mania, WWE has taken some notes where people are like, too much advertising, too much this. Like too many things like I know we had a contract signings our main event for Raw, but like there's been less of that stuff. There's been a lot more. It feels like there's been a lot more wrestling on these shows, and a lot of good wrestling. Like the Balor JD McDonough match, not from this week's Raw, but the Raw previous. I texted you. I was like, this is a PLE quality match that they just put on Raw. Like, it was a fantastic match. And if people are like, oh, it's like, okay, then you just don't like wrestling. Fine. You bitch and complain about, oh, there's not enough wrestling, and then they give you a really, 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 really good wrestling match. And maybe because you don't think either of the guys is as over as you think they ought to be or whatever, you just crap on it. It was a really good wrestling match. It was a great back and forth. There was a story in the match. The whole 9 yards. If you don't like it, then I'm sorry. Maybe you just don't like wrestling. Yeah. And that's fine, you know? But it's like, when you get into stuff like this, I think that there's plenty here to love. You know, there's plenty of possibilities here that could happen. And just going over the past weeks, like seeing Solo more involved in a few things and all that, like, I think that there is some really good stuff going on right now. And is it the greatest of all time? No. Is it maybe Attitude Era? Probably not. But it's still a fun watch. And if you don't like it, then just don't friggin' watch it. you know? Yeah. Anyways, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but yet I did.
So for much of the same reason, I thought you were going to go conventional and go with Roman, but you know, I should have gone first, so I could have you know, provided my take where I was going to be the agent of chaos, not you, and go with. But I'm going to go with Jacob. I'm going with Jacob on this one. I think we need to see. I think Roman is going to be at his most interesting when he is humbled. Make it a little cheeky.
Oh, hang on. I'm sorry, I didn't have the soundboard here. Ah, my gosh, I'm pushing everything. What's going on? There we go.
Thank you, Sheiky. I think Roman is going to be in for a little humility here. You know, I think he was quite arrogant and cocky going into the Punk match. I think you know, he's kind of taken this air of, you know, I'm once again in command and in control, and yet everything we've seen so far is that Jacob is taking him to places that not a lot of opponents have taken him before. And I think it will be, I like your idea that, Jacob gets the crown, but then doesn't know, you know, how to manage it in a way that Roman has learned how to manage it. But I do think we're going to go down a road where Roman has to acknowledge him as the tribal chief. I think it's going to be one of those things that is going to rock. I say rock fans, but in the sense of
rock,
where do we go?
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Possibly.
There's no way he's making it to Italy.
I'm just kidding. No.
Dwayne ain't flying to Italy. Not unless he's shooting a movie.
But I mean, Rock the very foundation of their expectations, because now where do we go from here? Because we're now in uncharted territory. He doesn't have the long title reign. He's now no longer the tribal chief. He's lost his identity. He's now at the whim of this madman who seems to just, fly out of control at a moment's notice. And what is Jacob going to do if he is the tribal chief? How is he going to lead? How is he going to, grow what Roman supposedly has cultivated with the Samoan dynasty? So one second.
I know. I got a thought when you're done.
Okay, hang on to it. I think that is the most interesting road we can go down. If this match goes the other way and Roman wins, I'm going to be supremely disappointed, because I don't want to see a situation where Roman is basically domesticating him and doing whatever, because it's just like, that's not interesting to me. We've seen Roman in this role before. It's played, it's tired. He had his 1500-day reign. It's not happening again. Let's do something different with these characters. Let's make it interesting. Let's put the Usos on their heels, because now it's like, whoa, our cousin isn't in charge anymore. The crazy guy is. The guy tied to Solo is, and maybe we get Solo involved at some point. There's much more interesting directions to go in, for me at least, for Jacob winning. That if he were to lose, it's just like, it's kind of almost like a downer for me at least. Maybe for fans who are big fans of Roman, they're giddy and happy and whatever, but I think it would be very interesting to see a universe where Roman is not in control and is not the tribal chief. But to your point, maybe this is now the journey to get back to that, which is probably the more interesting journey to invest in.
Yeah.
What is your thought where you had to, where you look like you had to gird your loins for something here? What's going on?
I wasn't
over
girding.
there?
I was just Twitter-pated by a thought.
And
now,
that thought is?
So again, the funny thing is, and again on Raw, we heard LA Knight come out and have a little back and forth tete-a-tete with Jimmy Uso, aka the Uso who can actually cut a promo without hyperventilating. Freaking Jay, man. It's like, you can do this without screaming. You know that.
4 letters, 1 word.
Asphyxiate. That's more than 4 words.
Wow.
4 letters. So it's been mentioned now several times how Roman can't get anything done by himself.
Yes.
So what if Jacob wins? Roman has now been dog walked to sufficiency, and he has to sit by all this. And what would be a great way to blow off, maybe a little bit of a civil war in the bloodline, where Roman is maybe trying to get his way back?
I like a Mussolini.
Good old Punk.
Are you saying Charles Montgomery will come to his rescue? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that might be a possibility, just to lord it over him. Just because Punk could be that smarmy prick who's just like, I'll help you.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm never going to live this down. You're never going to let me forget this. No, I won't. I won't. Zebras.
That's a very good idea.
Like, that's the long term. I mean, imagine that at Survivor Series War Games with like Roman, Punk, and a coalition of the willing.
Yes.
Against maybe we do see an alignment of Fatu winding up with Solo and Tala and whoever else, like, it could be interesting. Again, it all depends on whether WWE Creative has the huevos to play this out over 6 months. But,
you know what? I'm going to put a side bet in here, because this is tribal combat, so anything goes, right?
It is, yeah.
I'm going to say LA Knight causes Roman to lose, because he was very clear about he is not a fan of Roman. And so I wonder if we're going to get him inserting himself in this match to give Jacob an edge to get the win.
Or would he want Roman to win so he can go after him? Because he's like, I would rather go after Roman's punk ass than Jacob. I don't want nothing to do with that cat.
It's possible, but I'm going to go with LA causes Roman to lose, because then that could then be the next feud for Roman, where under Jacob is he now feuds with LA Knight, which does wonders for LA Knight, who unfortunately is kind of, directionless at this point. So,
well, I mean, the fact
stupid
that
creative
got him, dropping Roman's name out his mouth,
yeah,
on live television kind of indicates they might have some sort of a direction. What was it? Who was it on Raw that was talking about keep someone's name out your mouth? And I was like, oh my gosh, we're going the Will Smith route. I forget who it was. Crap.
Not sure.
Anyways, it might have been LA. No, it wasn't LA Knight. Anyways, it was something, but I remember hearing that and I'm like, Will Smith somewhere. This feels a disturbance in the force.
Indeed.
As well,
I'm going to go 4.25 star on this match. By the way, I know you did 3 3/4. Oh yeah, no, I think this is going to be. I was very impressed with their backlash match. I think this is going to be another good one.
All right.
So I'm going to go 4.25 on this one as Jacob Fatu is made the tribal chief.
All right, fair
Not
enough.
to be confused with Sabu's. So,
yeah.
Anyways, all right. This is the match I am the least prepared for because I unfortunately do not have enough hours in my week to watch SmackDown and sadly to even watch the clips on YouTube of SmackDown. I understand Gunther is gunning for Cody's title. I understand this is the cash in of the favor that one wise man or Oracle Paul Heyman owed Gunther. And this was to guarantee him a an undisputed WWE Championship title shot. However, the build-up to this, all I'm aware of is that Gunther, for some reason, doesn't seem to want to sign the contract or something like that, and keeps putting it off for some unforeseen reason. So,
yeah.
Have you watched any of this, and what is your read on this feud? Because I am really just not connected to SmackDown right now.
It's a little discombobulated because then they managed to bring Royce Keys into this thing and make him.
I did read about that. Yep.
Which, I mean, okay, I guess it makes sense, and it's a little odd and a little herky jerky, but then again, like SmackDown has not just been like a B show. It's felt, even though there's only 2 main shows, it's felt like a C-level show.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're trying to inject some new blood into this thing,
yeah,
this is a good way to bring in a dude who just looks like he ought to be just beating the tail off of everybody.
Yeah.
So they had the match between Gunther and Royce, and of course, Gunther's going to win because there's no way they're going to have Powerhouse Hobbs / Royce Keys going one-on-one with Cody Rhodes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been kind of odd, and I think that part of this is they're trying to course correct a little bit with Gunther. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry for the hiccups. Where I think they're realizing they leaned way too far into the career killer thing, and that there's only so many careers you can kill, and if that's your only thing, what do you do with this guy otherwise? I mean, you literally just put him in the cryogenic chamber for once a year when someone's going to retire? Like, is that the thing? I still love my idea of him just like future endeavoring everybody, that they do the cuts after WrestleMania, and just like all of Raw is just Gunther pinning people one after the other. I still think that is $1 million idea. Paul, give me a call. I will do commentary for that. But unfortunately, totally unreceptive so far. So I think they're trying to bring him back into just being another wrestler who's, a main event kind of guy. And I think if they're going to do that, they need to get back to basics. Like, this is a dude who takes wrestling seriously, and he should start getting into Cody Rhodes. Like, you're not a serious wrestler. Even going to the point of like, your signature move is a move that you have to do 3 or 4 times in order to pin someone, something like that or whatever. But I feel like it's been a little herky jerky, but ultimately it makes sense in several ways, because you got to do something with Gunther, and you got to do something with Cody. And I don't think either of them had a really ready-made thing here. So it's been a little herky jerky and whatever, but it's one of those deals where it's like, there's enough mystique around both of them that, okay, this makes sense. Like, yeah, I still want to see this match, even if the buildup has not been, storybook perfect. That's kind of my take on it, because again, even as having watched some of the shows, like it still is sort of vaguely odd to me, even,
Yeah.
So that's my breakdown of it.
Okay.
As broken as it is.
Can I just step away for just 1 second? I'm just hearing a noise, and I just want to make sure it's like not my air conditioner not working. So
well, that's perfect, because I need to go use the bathroom. So
all right,
we will rejoin in a moment.
6.5 hours later.
All right, so we were talking about Cody and Gunther. Again, not having watched it much, I mean, I just don't see Gunther going over here. The Ring General, as good as he is, I just don't see it happening. I think Cody hangs on to the belt for a bit longer, and I kind of get the sense we're moving toward a Punk Rhodes, down the line here, a Punk Rhodes face off where maybe Punk gets the better of him. Cody is slowly losing his soul because of the title, and everyone is. There was a picture. Was it? I think it was. Wait a minute. It must have been on Cage Side Seats, but there was a picture of Cody's championship celebration, and the only two people left who haven't turned on him are Jimmy or Jay Uso and LA Knight or something like that. No, not the Uso. It was LA Knight, and what the heck was that? I saw it and I was like, that's actually kind of cool. I didn't realize that. Let me just look real quick here. Looking for it was a picture. Let me see.
Are we talking like Cody's last championship win?
No, his very first championship win.
Okay.
There was a picture of everyone who was in the ring with him. And everyone was darkened out who has turned on him. And it was like, because Kevin Owens was in the ring, Sami Zayn was in the ring, Randy Orton was in the ring. And I'm just trying to see if I can find it. If I don't find it in this page, I'm just going to give up. But it was interesting to see, because it was like, oh yeah, that's a really good point. And it was LA Knight and one other superstar, but I can't think of who it is. Sorry, I'm almost there. Just let me just waiting on. I can't find it. I'll if I find the article, I'll send it to you to put in the show notes. But all in all, what it meant was just so many people who had, kind of helped him win or celebrated with him, not helped him win, celebrated his victory when he won the world title for the first time at WrestleMania 40. All but two have basically turned on him, which I thought was kind of funny. So all that to say that I think, over the course of Cody's, multiple reigns, like John Cena was another one who technically turned against him.
Technically, I mean, dear Lord, I mean, he made a child in Germany cry. I think he definitely turned on him.
He asked for forgiveness.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so basically, I'm just going to go with Cody, because I just feel like that's kind of the status quo is probably the most reasonable conclusion to draw here. I just don't see Gunther having a world title reign right now, but I think he's a fair opponent to, feed to Cody, to have a great match and have a really good title defense. But I think he's going to move on to other things. I know we talked about Oba maybe being the blow-off match for Brock at SummerSlam, but who knows? Maybe it could be Gunther taking on Brock at SummerSlam and, ending his career. Who knows? But which would be kind of strange, because Brock kind of chose to end his career at WrestleMania. So if they do turn it into kind of his last match, it's going to be a little hollow because of that.
Well, so I'm guessing you didn't catch the promo package, like the pre-recorded bit that Brock did for Raw, where Heyman intros it, and then they play the pre-tape package, because Brock ain't flying from Saskatchewan to wherever the hell Raw was this past Monday. That just ain't happening.
Yeah.
And in that, he basically kind of indicated, like, Oba beat me so bad that I decided that was it. like
Yeah.
playing along with the fact, like, no, I decided I was done, and then reconsidered afterwards. Like that's not how I want to go out.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So in that, it does kind of make sense. And you know what I think is so funny, and not to go back to, not to try and say this is an interesting match, but it kind of isn't that interesting as opposed to like Oba and Brock. I love in a very Schadenfreude, like Agent of Chaos, like, just watching people's tears and feeding off of that energy. People decry how dare WWE and Paul Levesque and WWE Creative and everybody all the way down from Bruce Pritchard down to the guy who sets up the friggin' ring and the people in catering. How dare they desecrate the sacred ritual of a wrestler leaving their boots in the ring? This used to be a thing, and the blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yes, because nobody has ever come back after a retirement match. Like, are you freaking like tell me you haven't watched a lot of wrestling without telling me you haven't watched a lot of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like the people freaking out over this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Oh, you're so adorable. Oh, you sweet, sweet summer child, you. Like, come on. You're getting upset because a retirement match in wrestling didn't mean an actual retirement. Like, oh wow, that's a shocker. An absolute shocker, I tell you.
Yep.
So,
by the way, it was LA Knight and Jey Uso are the two that have not turned on Cody. So
okay.
Finally found it.
So here's the thing. Like, did you pick your winner? You picked.
I'm going to say Cody Rhodes, and because it is with the Ring General, I'm going to go with 4.25 stars. I think it's going to be a very good match. Very good match.
A couple of generous ratings for. So I think here's my thought. I think we will know when they announce the semi-main event, or whoever. If we get whoever is going to be the main event, that's the championship change.
And I think it's going to be Roman and Jacob. I think that's going to be the main event.
However, if we hear all the drums and all that crap,
yes,
like third or fourth match, then we know that ain't happening.
Yeah.
It is really tough for me to picture where they go with this, because if Gunther wins, like, what does that look like? And is this like where we finally get a Cody heel turn because he has to go to a dark place in order to win his championship back, and after that he's forever changed? Maybe. Is this just kind of like you're saying, like this is a waypoint, a rest stop, if you will, along the journey of trying to find the next thing for both of these guys, and this is just a really good match that you could put on this card. It might just be that. And if it is, I mean, okay, cool. I guess that's all right. It's sort of like, when I was driving cross country, and after a while you get so sick of all the generic coffee places, and you finally see like a decent coffee place that you're like, as maybe that's kind of what this is, because we know that it's kind of been very mediocre for both of these guys coming out of WrestleMania. Nothing has really spectacularly happened for either of them. So maybe it's just enough to put them in a match together and then they go their separate ways.
Yeah.
I think in that way it damages Gunther more than anything, because if this is his cash in on this favor from Heyman, well, then what the hell was that all about?
Well, I honestly think part of that, this to me is where I do think there's a modicum of truth that Lesnar doing what he did at WrestleMania threw everyone for a loop, because I had been reading, and not that it, again, these are rumors. They of course can be false, but what I had been reading was there seemed to be a plan for Gunther to be the one to face Lesnar at SummerSlam. And so when he supposedly retires at WrestleMania, it's like, well, now what do we do with Gunther? And then Cody, of course, I think Cody and Randy were supposed to go in a totally I think Randy was supposed to win.
Yeah.
There was a lot of pivoting that had to happen either at or after WrestleMania.
Yeah, because we haven't seen Randy at all.
No. I mean, he's been gone since WrestleMania, so I don't even know if we're going to see him back ever in action, because if the back injury is what it is, is as bad as it it sounded, like he may just have to call it a career, because what is he going to do? Keep wrestling until his back goes out again? I mean, it's just like,
well, at this point, how much does it really take? Because it's not like he was wrestling regularly before that.
Right.
He didn't really have. I mean, he would come out and deliver a couple of moves to people, but he hadn't really had a match, I don't think.
Yeah.
Before he had the one where apparently he hurt himself again. So
yeah.
If anything, like it might make the most sense for friggin' Gunther to retire Randy at this point.
Could be.
I'm as much as I would like to see something kind of interesting here happen, and maybe like Gunther win and we see Cody go to the dark side. I don't think this is the thing. I'm going to go with you. Cody Rhodes is my winner, and I will go. I really wish you'd gone 4, and then I would have gone 4 1/4. I'm going to go 4.
All right.
Just to be different, because it'll probably bite me in the ass, but yeah, it's going to be a good one. If for nothing else, like these two just fighting over the last cupcake and catering would make for enough build up for them to have a match. Like they both know how to work this thing. And Cody isn't the most proficient technical wrestler, but he's technical enough, and Gunther is good enough that like it'll work really well.
Yeah.
I think honestly, like the money match down the line would honestly be Roman versus Gunther. I think that would actually be a really good match.
That would be a good match. I do think Roman versus Oba would be very interesting.
I'm less inclined for that one, because again, like I would like, as interesting as Oba is, like I just look at him going there and I want to see that as a squash match. Like I would actually like to see Roman get stretched and actually have to wrestle, as opposed to just more punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, kick. Like that doesn't necessarily work with Gunther.
Well, that's what I'm
have to wrestle.
That's what I mean though. Like I think that's in the same way that we're both going with Jacob to beat Roman. I think the interesting nature of Roman and Oba is the same as Oba versus Brock, which is have a guy who has been a dominant force get humbled by the up and comer.
Mm-hmm.
And Roman kind of ran his mouth at the WrestleMania post show, where he was very, again, and this is the thing that I find interesting about his character and why, it's interesting to me that fans, probably this is the nature of some characters being a blur of face and heel, is he came across as very arrogant, like he was asked about, what he thought about Obafemi, and he made a very condescending remark about, let's see how this summer goes, and if you're still as hot as you are right now, sort of thing. Like this guy isn't going to last. And the fact of the matter is, and again, it's scripted, it's predetermined, I get it. But there's an element of Roman, you keep yourself in really good shape because, you basically are home most of the time and can do that. But you go up against a guy like Oba, and he's tossing your ass around. I'm sorry. Like there's no you walking around throwing punches and talking a bunch of crap while,
oh no,
I mean, you're fighting for your life at this point,
Well,
and so I think that's, to me, the allure of the match is I want to see Obafemi beat the shit out of Roman Reigns. That's what I want to see.
Oh, I would love to see like a procession of people beat the shit out of Roman Reigns. But
no, but that would be more to me. That is like ultimate entertainment for me, because it's very fun to see someone who I mean, that's the whole point of like why Oba and Brock did so well. Fans are so fired up around Oba, and here he is going against this guy who's always dominated anyone who he's faced. He's always been, even when he's lost the match, he's been the dominant force in that match.
Mm-hmm.
And to see someone go in the ring and do something to him that you've really never seen or very rarely have seen, which is him getting thrown around and manhandled the way that he was, is wildly exciting to watch because it's different. True. And I think that's where seeing Roman in that sort of setting would be entertaining, because it now adds a new dimension to the character, in the same way that we're both saying we want to see Jacob win as a way to humble Roman. I think this would be another humbling for him, which is but again, you can only be humbled so many times before it's like, oh, well, now he just sucks, sort of thing. So
he's at his humblest of most humble. That's why I like Jacob doing it, because it's family.
I agree. I think Jacob's the right call for 100%.
Yep. So let's catch up on side bets here, because we really haven't talked about any for the last couple matches. Is there anything for like the women's championship, world heavyweight championship, undisputed? Any side bets you have for those?
I have 2 side bets for the Intercontinental Championship match. I don't know there needs to be a lot of chicanery for the Oba Brock match, other than if Heyman gets involved, or he gets the Vision involved. Like, I just don't see it. It's almost like overthinking it.
Mm-hmm.
Rhea and Jade, we could throw. I mean, you could certainly make a side bet that you get Mitchin and BFAB getting involved, and maybe you get Charlotte and Alexa who come out and counteract them or something like that. But again, like, I almost don't like the reason I'm not making the side bet is because I almost don't want to see that. Like, just let the 2 of them go at it, and let's not have it be a schmoz where you have 4 other people get involved because we just want to get some faces and names out there. It's just, come on, just let the 2 of them go at it. Let it be what it is. Uncle Todd wants Jade to snap like, a twig in fall.
Beg your pardon. When I say snap, and you've said this a couple of times here wrong, let me, because apparently I need to remind you of some history, which is very rare here in the wrestling realm. When I say snap, there is a very well documented snap that we both were around for, and that would be Ken Shamrock.
Okay.
That's the kind of snap I'm talking about. Like, just her losing her ever-loving mind and giving in to just like this raw power and rage.
Okay.
Which is where I feel like that character would actually attain its full form. Because you look at her and you're like, oh my gosh, she looks like she should be able to like tear a phone book in half and then just destroy half of the women's division before having a ham sandwich for lunch. Like, I feel like if they're not going to push that, I don't know what they're going to do with her. And this is the perfect person to do it with. Like, the person who has ruled over the women's division roost, whether she's had the championship or not, and been the most over, and to have her decimate her, it's like, well, what else are you going to do? And it's a perfect time to do it for Rhea, because like, it's not going to hurt her. Anyways, I didn't mean to revisit that, but you stuck in my craw, sir. Stuck in my craw.
All that to say, I have no side bets on the women's championship match. I've added my LA Knight side bet for the World Heavyweight Championship match. And quite honestly, I mean, for Cody and Gunther, probably could throw a Royce Keys, appearance in there, but I don't know that I want to.
I don't know that there's. I think he was a throw in before the throw in. I don't think there's much mileage there. I think they're trying to kind of put him into Solo's orbit, and that makes a lot more sense because he ain't been around very much since the Rumble. It was funny, again, going back to the AEW event. One of the trucks, I sent a picture to the man they call Tim, and one of the trucks that they have out there, because they have approximately like 18 trailer trucks out there. One of them, it's like 3 out of 5 guys on the truck no longer. And Powerhouse Hobbs was one of them. I think Penta was one.
Yep, Penta.
Who else was on there? And then they had another one where it was like, you essentially look at it, you're like, oh, so it's all WWE alumni.
Basically. Well, AEW alumni who are now in WWE. So.
Well, no, but there was another one where it was like, it's like, ooh, Cope and Cage. And I'm like, oh, so all people who have shifted over. Like, it was very interesting. Oh, so the one that was Powerhouse Hobbs, Saraya, and Penta, I think.
Oh, Saraya, that's right. Yeah.
I was like, oh, hey, look, guess who is no longer with this promotion?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's funny. Yeah.
The other important thing is I only have 3 side bets and you have 4, and so if I'm wrong on all 3, I'll still be ahead of you. So I'm just gonna play that as it is.
And I'm not trying to bait you into a side bet here. Do you think there's any chance that we see Heyman interference in the Cody Gunter match? Like Heyman making a presence known? Because would it be interesting if Heyman was involved there, as his association with Lesnar is on the wane. We then have him picking up somebody else.
I mean, if it's that he's, because I have read they were kind of alluding to, Cody turn to the dark side and pick up the services of the wise man, so to speak, to help him along his way. That could be. I would be against it being Gunther, though. I don't want him showing up and doing anything. Gunther can hold his own in a match.
Yeah,
I
totally.
don't think he needs him.
Right.
But I do think, if we are moving toward is Cody going to teeter to the dark side or not? I think that would be kind of interesting. But
it could be, especially considering the Mr. Heyman promo of going back and forth. I'm just looking for a wrestling title, and you've made it personal, sort of thing. Coming full circle to that would be very interesting.
Yeah,
and in a way, I bet Paul would be tickled 8 shades of pink to be working with Dusty's boy. That would probably. He'd probably be like, okay, here's another thing I didn't even know was on my bucket list, and here we go, check. That would be kind of cool, and it would be very interesting because I think that would push Cody into some very interesting spots.
I would agree,
but we may never get the Cody Rhodes heel turn at this point, just like we'll never get Jessica Carr and Becky Lynch.
Come on, be positive and believe, believe, as Ted Lasso would say.
I'm trying.
Believe.
Anyways, any other thoughts on the event, or are we ready to move on?
Other than I'm preparing myself to have a conversation with my wife to make her aware of my basically disappearing act I'll be doing for the remainder of Sunday. I might even stay home all day Sunday, just so as I plump. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Plop down. There we go. I was going to say plunk. Plop down at 2 p.m. Central Time to take in this event and then prepare my remarks and my address to the peoples of the free range of idiocy that we do speak to Sunday evening. Just got to figure out how to smooth that over. So we will see.
Here's what the man they call Tim is going to do. He's going to wake up in the morning on Sunday. He's going to get himself like the Jethro Bodine bowl. He's going to get himself a big bowl of cereal, an entire gallon of milk, and then he's going to watch My Name is Paul Heyman documentary, CM Punk Best in the World documentary, the Fall of ECW documentary, the destruction of the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior documentary until he gets to 2 p.m. and he's like, it's time. And he's just wired on sugar. It's time for Clash in Italy.
A couple changes there. One is I would not have cereal and milk. I would take myself over to my Starbucks that's nearby, get myself my breakfast sandwich, my egg bites, and my matcha.
Ribeye for noon.
I would have a ribeye set for noon from the Wheaton Meat Market, and then then I for the record, my wife is very supportive of my wrestling habit, and
is it supportive or tolerant?
I think it's supportive because I don't foist it upon her.
I think it's more tolerant, honestly.
Well, maybe it is.
She's just like, oh, isn't this just so adorable?
Yeah,
so adorable. He likes to go talk to his little friend at night. Oh, good.
Basically. But yes, I'm slowly scheming on how to make this all work. So
flowers, sir, flowers.
Thank you.
And take her to the farmers market, then and not the wheat.
I'm a planner market. If I'm nothing else. So
Oak Park, sir. Oak Park Farmers Market on Saturday. That's what you got to do.
That's on Sunday, by the way.
Oh, it is on Sunday? Oh, well,
yeah.
You're screwed then. Never mind. You got to go to the Wheaton one on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, all right, we're at 2 hours and 40 minutes. Let's wrap this sumbitch up. Come on now.
Okay, well then. Somebody's got to be in their bonnet and a burr under their saddle. What do you got for Anna?
Some of us have to travel downtown tomorrow, so.
Well, I can't keep track of your schedule, sir. What do you got
for
Some of us
are planning to sleep in, apparently, so.
I'm trying to move things forward, but you keep screwing with me. What do you got for and another thing, sir?
Well, this week, and another thing is what I'd like to refer to as Bourbon Week.
Or last minute thought week.
Hush over there.
I watched you fill it in there like a minute and a half ago.
Right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Going to go.
If you are a bourbon aficionado and have not tried the Laws brand, I would highly recommend it. This one here is a San Luis Valley straight rye whiskey. It is delightful. I tried this at Whiskey Fest and very much enjoyed it.
Very nice.
It doesn't have a proofage right on here, but it is 47.5% alcohol per volume.
So that's 94%, 94 proof.
What is that? Just a times 2, basically, or
yeah, you take whatever the percent alcohol is and double it.
Well, there you go. And you tell me you can't do math. Well, he can do math when it counts. That's what he can do.
When it comes to proofage, yes. Other than that, I'm like.
But while I have not opened this yet, I'm very particular with my bourbons. Like
Gosh,
when I get something,
winging that around like it's nothing. Like,
oh,
see, now that'd be good. That'd be good for ratings.
I got to say, one of the cringiest
Mark
things.
Briscoe would do that for an AEW house show. He
probably would. One of the cringiest things I remember seeing on. I don't remember if you remember watching. You might have been watching this with me. Is forget if it was pay-per-view or a Raw, but Bob Holly taking a glass vase or something and busting it over Boss Man's head and realizing that Boss Man got glass in his eye because of it. And he went down like a rock because when you see that thing shatter, he right away grabs his eye, grabs his face, and is down. And I'm like, oh my God.
I don't remember that, but I just even picturing it is giving me the willies, quite honestly.
Yeah. So we're not going to do that, but yeah, Law's bourbon. I would just, I happen to have this rye flavor, but do check out their varietals that they do have because it is quite scrumptious, good, and you will not be disappointed.
Somebody got himself a thesaurus this week.
Well, I do try to be, a well-read individual who preaches to the masses.
Well, speaking of well-read, yes. See what I did there. I'm going to recommend for my and another thing this week, checking out Skinny Legs and All by Tom Robbins, which is a 1990 novel by American author Tom Robbins, who he's one of those cats who I can't remember what his total, number of novels is. It's under 10. Like he didn't even make it into double digits. And it is one of those things. He's passed along now, but it's like I am in a way very upset because I'm like, damn it, I wanted more. Like I keep on rereading his books because I got into his books in college and in a very certain time in my life, and I keep kind of going back to them. And so when I was looking for a new book to read, I kind of looked at it as going back and revisiting an old friend because I've read all of his novels, and I'll periodically just go back and find one that I like. And this one, has some parallels to these today in a weird way. But the description, I'm going to link to Bookshop, bookshop.org, which is a great way to support local bookshops while also being able to order online as opposed to larger outlets. I won't mention them. But this is a way you can actually support local bookstores and help them out as well. This is the description, though. An Arab and a Jew open a restaurant together across the street from the United Nations. It sounds like the beginning of a joke, but it's the axis around which Skinny Legs and All spins, in which a bean can philosophizes, a dessert spoon mystifies, a young waitress takes on the New York art world, and a rowdy redneck welder discovers the lost god of Palestine, while the illusions that obscure humanity's view of the true universe fall away one by one like Salome's veils. Skinny Legs and All deals in Tom Robbins' audacious manner with race, politics, marriage, art, religion, money, and lust. It weaves lyrically through what some call the, quote, end days, quote, end quote, of our planet. Refusing to avert its gaze from the horrors of the apocalypse, it also refuses to let the alleged end of the world spoil its mood. And its mood is defiantly upbeat. In the gloriously inventive Robbins style, here are characters, phrases, stories, and ideas that dance together on the page, wild and sexy like Salome herself. Or was it Jezebel? Tom Robbins is one of those cats who, like, just his writing is so incredibly lyrical and just, like, fascinating to me. And again, I discovered him in college, and so therefore it's kind of this touchstone I keep going back to. And this novel where, it really kind of, it deals with a lot of stuff going on in the Middle East, which seems rather prescient. So, this is saying a publication date is 1995. The one I have says 1990. So I'm going to go with the actual printed book that I have and say this was published in 1990. But give it a try. If you don't love it, I will understand, because I also understand Robbins is kind of bit of a narrow acquired taste. So if you don't dig it, fine. That's all right with me. Go check it out at your local library, and that way it's no risk. But if you listen to this podcast and you're kind of like, hey, that Uncle Todd guy, I kind of like the cut of his jib. Go ahead and buy it, because then you'll probably love it. But yeah,
he's got a haircut you can set your watch to.
Yeah, Dad stalks you at every turn. Grandpa, that's the cat. All right, and that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our broadcast day. My God, do you remember back when television actually used to shut off for the day? What? You remember that? Like they played the national anthem.
I'm having flashbacks to the snow.
Yeah. It was the weirdest fracking thing, and now that's not even a thing anymore. But anyways, this is the conclusion of our broadcast day. Thank you all for tuning in. We do so appreciate it. You can go to freerangeidiocy.com and catch all of our shows there, both our Week in Geek Wednesday and also our Free Range Idiocy Friday shows. You can download them one by one, subscribe to the Podbean app, or you can find us on podcast purveyors of all stripes. That would be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, and many, many more. Just search for Free Range Idiocy wherever you get your podcasts. Chances are we're there. Quite honestly, like a wart on whatever podcast purveyor you have. But hey, we're a friendly wart. And
I love how you position us as some sort of boil.
Well, I mean, you got to admit it's on point.
It is fair,
isn't it?
On point, on brand.
We like to think that we're innovative and all that, but we're really kind of just a growth that people are like, damn it, one of these days I got to deal with that. But you never do. We're more of a skin tab, really. But moving on, if you want to get full video episodes,
he's going to keep going and explore all the medical jargon that we are.
Again, I wish I had an explanation for why I say shit like that, but I don't. I really don't. I
admire the way you're able to do it. I am scared by the fact of some of the things that you come up with, though.
I don't want to demean people who have Tourette's and things like that, but I really wonder if it's like a spectrum of Tourette's, and I'm kind of on the lower end where it's just he says really weird shit, but we're not really sure. But it's not like overtly like all of a sudden like parrot or whatever, Yeah. Anyways, if you want full video episodes, go to youtube.com/@freerangeidiocy. That's our YouTube channel. Subscribe. You get our Wednesday and Friday shows. If you want to follow us on the social medias, it always makes us feel better when those numbers go up. We're on Instagram and the Facebook. Both of those are @freerangeidiocy. If you have questions, thoughts, concerns, or offers of outright bribery, send those to Tim at freerangeidiocy. He'll take the bribery and never tell me about it, because that's how he gets his friggin' championship belts. And I think I've covered everything. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to turn this show over to the less idiotic of the two idiots who run this show. Granted, it's not that high of a bar to clear, but man, he hurdles it like a gazelle on methamphetamines. But not before I ask the second most important question in all of human history. The first being, what is hip? The second being, what in the high holy hell did we learn this episode?
We've learned the following, my friend. We've learned that Uncle Todd is cold on AEW. He is.
Actually, no. Wait, hang on. Sorry.
He's the rat.
There we
Thank
go.
you very much. What the hell was that?
It was a misclick, man. I'm sorry.
AEW is a jabroni to Uncle Todd after the fine evening of professional wrestling and Chinese food that he was able to enjoy.
Man, if I could have some pork dumplings right now. Actually, you know what? I would actually take the garlic green beans. I have never liked green beans. These green beans, I could eat 8 pounds of them. It is amazing. Empire
Excellent.
Chinese kitchen. Pork on there.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
You know what? Next time you're in town, we got to go there.
We should.
You would dig it, absolutely. You know what? They don't do pork fried rice. They do bacon fried rice. I'm like, there is some people who don't screw around. They just get right to the heart of the matter. Like, forget that pork fried rice. We're going right to bacon. The tastiest of all pork products.
I'm actually struggling with how do we put it? So with AEW, you are not cold. What's the other way we put things?
It's almost like if you have your washing machine.
Yeah.
Hot, warm, cold, tap cold.
Oh, bullish and bearish. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
you are bearish on AEW.
I know, but I actually like the washing machine better because it really expresses just how cold it is. It's not cold; it's tap cold. Like it's not even vaguely warm. It's like this is the stuff that's coming right out of the ground. That's where I'm at with AEW.
And much like Solo's face, got cold. So that is AEW. We get Saturday night's main event, and man, they called Tim and Uncle Todd bullish on the action that we got to see. Great to see some tag team action. Great to see Penta and Ethan Page highlighted. We'd definitely, like to see a little more fluidity in the matches with the ladies, but overall, a solid event, top to bottom. Once again, we've also learned that Uncle Todd, he'll get there, but, the intro for the man they called him being the world champion. He put this belt on the line last season and defended it with honor and with dignity.
The belt on the line for anything.
It was on the line. It was defended, and it is. Thank you very much, Edie. We have learned that the man they called him is ready. Is ready for another defense this upcoming season. All right, and we have also learned that the man they called Tim and Uncle Todd, we are bullish on Jacob Fatu, or I should say Warren, on the prospect of him supplanting the current tribal chief and where that will take us. I think that'll be very interesting. Uncle Todd, we have learned, is very much about seeing Jade Cargill emerge from the cocoon and become fully formed.
You say
dominate
emerge or emerge?
I said emerge from the cocoon.
Emerge.
No, I said emerge.
Congratulations. It's Paul Webster's.
Make you humble.
Yeah, make you humble. We've also learned... sorry, I got to look at the card here. We've also learned that Uncle Todd and the man they call Tim have two different perspectives on the Obafemi Brock Lesnar duo match. That is two in Italian. Yes. Just trying to bring some culture to this show.
Well, I didn't know if you were falling asleep. You're like, do it.
Sure. It happened last night. It could happen tonight. Who knows?
There is precedent, ladies.
There is precedent. I do not fault you for that, sir. Thank you for the wellness check. It is appreciated. You there? Dunk, 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 dunk. Yeah? You hear me? Yes. And the man they call Tim and Uncle Todd are bullish on Sol Ruka not winning the Intercontinental title, although we did pick her to win. But that, for God's sakes, she'll finally hit a beautiful soul snatcher after a tumultuous call-up since NXT. She was batting 1,000 down there, and since coming to the main roster, it's been a rough go. But we have faith that she's going to nail that crazy move because, by God, the timing is difficult, but they will make it work.
Maybe not 1,000, but man, she was high up there.
You're messing with my Zen thing, man.
Indeed. And we have also learned that Cody Rhodes is on the road to the dark side, and Uncle Todd, and, to some extent the man they call Tim, would love to see the wise man in his corner. Boy, would that be something. A fine twist in the story of Cody Rhodes as world champion, achieving what his papa could not. But we will see. We will see. With all that being said, we'd like to thank you for your listenership on the show, and once again, indulging us in close to 3 hours of chatter and idiocy on the world of professional wrestling. As we like to wrap things up here on The Range, be safe, be healthy, be kind, be good to one another. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. The Range is closed for now, and I'm still the champ. See ya!
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking.
I beg your pardon, what did you say?
Damn!
You're such a disappointing pair. I prayed so hard for you. Get out. And don't come back until you've redeemed yourselves.
So say we all.
So say we all.
Now get the hell out of here!